You work so hard. You show up every day. You do what's expected of you. But deep down, you know the truth. One paycheck shouldn't decide how your life turns out. But what if your evenings meant progress? What if your weekends built freedom? What if your laptop became more than just a screen? This isn't about quitting your job. It's about giving yourself options. While others scroll, you start building. Quietly, consistently, and on your own terms. No pressure, no guessing. Just a clear system you can run after work, before work, or whenever life gives you a turn. That's what Goldmine on hustlesafrica.com is for.
Tuesday.
Haikuzo makasi ni watafute uongozi pamoja wasitafute.
Kweli una maana gani? Una maana wewe ni binadamu ya mavi ya kuku.
Mashamba yetu harambe.
Nguruwe kujikanga na mafuta yake na Afrika itakwisha.
Padani ya gosho ngai no mwega na endesho de.
Wakati hiyo ilikuwa ukisema ngwe ndani ngwe.
All right, hello there, people of the internet. My name is Dujegera, and this is Political Headache. Today, I'm in the studio with, in Luo language, we call her Raila Madhako. Raila Madhako is something that people of the internet will have to start translating. I hope they really can't, and the rest of them are already here, so that they can be able to. But we will continue mentioning that, so that we know what is going on in the country right now. Sifuna was supposed to be appearing on Radio Jambo tomorrow in the morning. That has been cancelled. That is the big news. But then I don't know whether it is Odhiambo's friend Ndu that saw the post by Gikonyo and said, okay, sisi tuko.
To the rescue.
Tuko tayari.
Watu walikuwa wamenituma kwake, so I was so happy they made that move so swiftly.
Okay.
Because I was there on Monday, Tuesday, I think. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that happened pretty fast, people of the internet. I want to welcome you to today's conversation. I am having Odhiambo Otieno, the silent listener to every conversation, the government propagandist.
The government inspector.
The government inspector. Yeah, the government inspector. But
you read it as well?
No.
Oh. Okay.
And then we have Abby
The
Zwena.
books that you've read and mine are very different.
Yeah, we have
in high school.
I can't say them here.
Merchant of Venice?
Yes, I did that.
Okay, so we're not far off.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. As always, a pleasure.
Yes. How are you doing? How are you feeling today? We have the today. What we are going to be discussing are some of the moves that Linda Wananchi has made.
Yeah.
In the last 3 months, and some of the specifics. That I want to talk about is the Kisumu rally.
Yes.
I want to talk about the Vihiga, the western region.
Yes.
The issue and the factor of Sotsi, because I think it is very important going forward. Because of I was talking to Atandi earlier today. And the people of the internet asked him, where did the 30 million go? 30 million that you were
big
giving.
Budget? Where? Yeah? Big budget.
But I don't know where they came up with that budget. Yeah. So those are the things that we are going to be talking about. Odhiambo, there is the government that you support seems to be gagging the media and telling people that look, unaweza enda huko kwingine lakini si huku kwetu.
I'm even surprised we're still on air right now, but anyways.
Yeah. Hii sasa unajua is all connected to ile ya Limuru.
We love Abby very much.
Okay.
Abby is the incoming deputy president of the Linda Wananchi. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I defended my choice very well.
Okay.
And luckily Jagiro listened and brought the one and only Abby Zwena to the show. So I'm very happy to introduce you to her.
Yeah.
This is Abby Zwena. the potential deputy president, potential
Yeah.
of 2027.
Odhiambo, probably people of the internet, some people of the internet were not there yesterday. So could you please repeat what you said yesterday so that we hear it?
Yeah, what I said yesterday was this, people of the internet. I said that Linda Mwananchi, as led by Sifuna, needs to have a very exciting campaign, a very exciting paradigm shift, which includes the bringing in of a deputy president nominee who is unconventional, who is a lady and who is young, perhaps in her 30s. And Abby Zuena is somewhere there. And Jagero took me to whatever on this issue of Abby Zuena. And the people on the internet were doubting. This is the girl I was talking about. There's no Kikuyu written on her face, of course. Okay. She's a millennial like myself.
Is she a millennial?
Yes, I'm a millennial.
Late.
I'm a millennial. I just ensure that I surround myself with Gen Zs so that they can format my mindset and refocus me.
Yes, onto the reality.
Onto the realities of life. Because once you're stuck in a very sad state of millennial and the old way of thinking, you can really not understand.
What is the old way of thinking, Zuena, politically?
The old way of thinking politically is I'm comfortable in my life. I'm able to make a few coins even if I'm struggling. I don't need to aggravate the government. Nisawa, it will get better. One day, today was bad, but tomorrow will be okay. I don't need to play a role. Things will figure themselves out. But that's such a very sad state of mindset to have as a person. And so if you don't rewire your system and accommodate some of this Gen Z mindset, you're going to be stuck in a system that will allow you to just be comfortable with the status quo and not want to change things around you.
Right.
Thank you so much for the vote of confidence.
I'm very confident.
I appreciate that at least one person in this whole country believes in me. Thank you so much.
1, because you're likable.
Yes.
2, because you know how to speak. 3, because I know you have serious content.
Yes.
And 4, because you are part of the future.
Yes.
Abby Zuena, without getting into the political specifics.
Yes.
Because probably you might want to say that it is too early to start talking about my position in the next government and so on and so forth.
Yes.
That is understandable.
Yes.
But I also think that you're not going to dictate to us how we look at you.
Give us the freedom.
And so the question I'm going to ask you is, when you heard Odhiambo say this, what did you honestly feel?
Of course, the sad state of millennial thinking that I was talking about, I was shaken. I was like, why would Brian say such a thing?
They don't know Brian.
Yes, why would he throw me in the mud like that? And I'm just getting settled into this team. Please remember, we are at our formative stages. We're still going through the storming stage. So there's the push and pull, interest of the various principles taking shape, people in the various camps fighting here and there. We are not perfect.
Are you saying there's infighting in Linda Mwananchi?
We are not perfect. It's unavoidable. It's a group we are forming. It's just that our fights are not big and malicious, and they're not going to play out in the public domain. We know how to manage it because we have structures and systems to ensure that everybody is being heard. And that is what I like about being in such a youthful movement. And young people fight all the time.
Yes.
I mean, even with your siblings, you're always fighting over the smallest things and you get over it. So we're not going to pretend like we're this perfect formation that has zero infights. And so when I heard you say that, I was like, oh my God, you've gotten me back to a place where people are going to start saying, oh, sasa, mekuja sana. But also I appreciate the vote of confidence. And I know I can serve in such a capacity, but I still have a lot to learn and a lot of mentorship to.
But you're also a Christian, right?
Yes, I am.
And in the good book, it says that the kingdom of God suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force.
That's right.
I also know Queen Esther had to go through some processes for her to get a favor from the king, and for her to be very strategic to ask for certain favors for them to be given to her and her people. So I'm also very cautious enough to know how to maneuver in this space to ensure that I don't aggravate those that I don't need to aggravate this early, but still be strategic enough to support this movement and still shine and still, be seen and heard and accommodate as many young people as I can in this movement.
So then how much do you think this should go? How Solomonic are you guys gonna go around this issue? Because today you've got a lot of suitors. I have a feeling that Wamunyoro camp and the United Opposition is looking at these energetic young people and saying, how can we take advantage? Because if they were to cross over to our side, suddenly Gen Z is going to say, look, this is where we are supposed to go.
Yeah.
And I imagine that the house on the hill, Mr. Ruto and his people are also looking at this young movement and saying, how can we have a slice of this cake?
Yes.
All right. Even Maraga might be thinking, wow. Even the gentleman in Canada, he's saying, this is the people that I should. How does it make the entire formation project, Linda Wananchi, feel about it? All of you are having your Esther moments?
I think we are still navigating through this very new attention space.
Okay.
Because all the eyes are on us. I mean, we had very many rallies over the weekend, but everybody was looking at the Kisumu rally. I even forgot other opposition leaders were having rallies. No offense.
Okay.
But I feel it's also very soon for us, and I know our leadership has been keen to communicate this to us, that we are not about to start engaging any leaders in the opposition yet, until we can strengthen our movement, until we can put our house in order on a few things.
Right.
Until, I mean, at the end of the day, you've seen people that support us saying, Senator Edwin Sifuna should stop calling himself the SG of ODM. But at the same time, he's been keen to say, this is the party that belonged to his father, and he just can't abandon it like that. It would be a great injustice for him to have been the last SG that Baba knew, for him to wake up and say, you know what, you guys have kicked me out, I've given up. I mean, he's always saying Baba hakulea waoga, and so we need to give these leaders time to understand how to morph these followers and following that they have from ODM and shift them into the new way of thinking and so forth, if that is the direction we're going to go.
Okay.
So we appreciate all the attention we're getting, but we just can't engage yet.
If you look at Sifuna's impact, if you look at the poster for the Situation Room tomorrow,
Yes.
it says
Which
the
way?
SG of ODM party.
Yes.
I don't know whether this is Sifuna's instruction, because Odhiambo journalistically, how does that work?
So yeah, when the producers call you, normally what they ask you is they will propose a topic. That we have this that we are covering, or we have this that the country is focusing on right now. From your expertise, like us who are in communication, they normally want you, if you have either history within that agenda, or if you have foresight within the agenda, then they call you on board. Now, when they call you, they ask you, how would you like us to refer to you on this? So that's why one day you'll find me political analyst, tomorrow communication strategist, tomorrow strategic communication advisor.
Okay.
It's never a permanent reference in terms of expertise.
All right.
Because you come in at different times. In one instance, Abi Zwena comes in as a follower or as a keen supporter of Linda Mwananchi. The next moment, they invite her as a real estate agent, but a business lady who is affiliated to Ivo. So them inviting Sifuna and having it as Secretary General substantive, there's a message that is being sent, and I believe Abi Zwena has a hand in it, because she's not a lady who lets things just pass. I believe she must have instructed a few things that let it go like this.
Yeah.
Because I'm also wondering, and perhaps it's a question that I have to her.
Okay.
That what is the hangover with ODM? It looks like an abusive relationship, that the man is banging your head on the wall.
Okay.
And taking your bags and packing and putting outside the door. And then you kwenda.
Okay. Yeah.
And again it happens.
Okay.
The man now takes the clothes and checks outside the gate. And even calls relatives and says, Simtaki. Or the woman throws your clothes from Gorofa and ashames you in front of the people and tells you, Kwenda kabisa. Then don't want to go. What is it? Why do you love this abuse? But
before she answers that question of the Ambo, I still want to remain at the point of the the wording there. Obviously, you could say that you are so and so, and you can give so many things, but you can't say that you're the president of the country. I am going to the Situation Room and I'm the president of the country. They will say no, right? So why do you think that there is a problem there? Because ODM, it is still at the tribunal, right?
Yes, it is. Ideally, Edwin Sifuna is still the SG of the ODM party. And I want to tell you guys, the moment I stepped foot in Kisumu, I realized the importance of him still saying, I'm the SG of the ODM party.
Those ones are bipolar.
Though you can't just, this is not something, this is a relationship and a marriage they've had for the longest.
Yeah.
Sifuna has been SG for so long. This is his ideal. If you're going to still use, let me use your example, Brian. You talked, when you were speaking, did I interrupt you? Thank you. You just don't leave a first marriage like that just because of a few hiccups.
Okay.
And even if you're going to divorce your first wife, there's a process that goes onto it. There's even the return of dowry. Kuna wazee wanakaa chini wanaongea. Ni ukweli Brian, we kama ujai olewa na ukapenda mtu for long. Umtokangi tu hivyo. Kwanza ndoa mlikuwa na watoto, mkafanya. You just don't up and go. There's a whole process.
Some people even change their names.
Yes, I mean people even change their names and their whole identity to fit that marriage.
So you just Mrs. Brian.
Yes, you can't just
Mali and a teach Mrs. Brian.
You just don't up and go. There's a whole process to detaching that. And let me tell you, the kind of fire and vibrancy I saw in Kisumu, and the kind of chants, organic chants that they kept telling Sifuna, who told you? They kept reminding him the last words of Baba, as if to remind him over and above what he's going through in the ODM party. And that's why we're always saying they may have the name, but the people are truly with the Linda Mwananchi leaders. Babu Owino and Sifuna being there and Orengo being there and still reminding them we are in the kind of hope. Please know these people have only known this party. You can't just up and leave them. There has to be a process into how we handle them and how we fight for them, so that if it gets to a point where we can no longer be in ODM, they are going to live with us. We're not just going to leave that whole piece of block because a few people decided to be notorious, go shake hand with Anaconda, and now all of a sudden, the SG of ODM is going to up and go and say, I am not the SG of ODM. Oh, no. You don't know who Anaconda is?
I've seen her talk about that several times on social media. I think who is Anaconda, by the way?
If you don't know, you don't know, by the way.
Really?
But if you know, you know.
She's saying there's somebody in this country.
Vash, who is Anaconda?
Ruto. You see, they know.
Why do you call him Anaconda though?
One, because I feel the kind of
That name is
I mean, do you see the merchandise of Clive Gisairo, Honorable Clive Gisairo?
What was he saying?
Nitakonda nimeenda gym. The latest one was umefuliza ngapi ukiwa Italy.
Yeah.
And the last one was tulimeza nyota leta mwezi.
Tulimeza nyota leta mwezi.
Because nyota fan tulimaliza na the you know, by giving people the truth about what nyota fan was all about. I mean, why did they just kill that program out of the blue? So like, since nyota has ended, they can bring the moon, we deal with it and so forth. So it's my point is it is quite when you're on the outside looking at Edwin Sifuna, you'd think it's as easy as toka tu ODM no useme we CSG wa ODM. Yeah. But once you interact with the bloc that believed in ODM and its ideals and its democracy and rule of law foundational basis, you kind of understand why you can't just up and go. There has to be a system and a process to go about, and a formula to go about it.
At the expense of time?
Which time? It's like 17, 16 months to the election.
No, it's actually 13.
13. We are okay. We are doing very, very well.
When will you build the structures?
Please know that we are getting into areas and zones that the nature opposition has not been able to go to. And that voting block is very, very important. The Western Bloc and the Luo Nyanza Bloc, those are very, very key players of the next election. You can't just... Where's your beba tu hivi, Brian?
Are you saying that Linda Ground ODM substantive has lost ground significantly that it cannot regain?
Oh, yes.
No matter what they do?
No matter what they do. The only thing they can do is go to Edwin Sifuna, ask for forgiveness.
That I agree.
And then hopefully, maybe Sifuna will reconsider, and then we give them our terms of them coming back to plug into our movement. Because they're going to be terms.
Okay.
And the first term is, and Edwin Sifuna said this in a Herman interview, is we are going to evaluate these leaders that are now coming back and ask them, since you have integrity issues, for example, and if this goes into the way we'll interact with the united opposition leaders, there's no way we are going to say we want to save Kenya and morph Kenya into a new system and into a new age of politics and governance, and there are fundamental issues that surround you as a leader. We have seen young people voice out their issues with some of the leaders that are in the united opposition based on how they have served in previous governments and even in this government of Ruto as well. And just because they have now washed themselves and said one term, that does not now mean that they are worthy of leadership. And this is something our side is very critical about, because majority of our supporters are young people, and they have been very clear about the marking scheme that they're going to use in 2027. And it is our intention not to aggravate these young people and force them into another abyss of there's no democracy, we will never change this country, and bad leaders will always win. As Linda Mwananchi, our key agenda is to ensure young people, the majority of young people, participate in this next general election, and we have to ensure that they feel safe in this formation and they feel safe in the conversations that we're having. That is why we cannot engage these leaders in the united opposition yet, until terms are very clearly laid out and they understand what it means to come and partner with
The
us.
same terms that you will ask of ODM if they were to come and say, forgive us.
Yes, there is no way leaders that stood and said the 10-point agenda was, achieved. And yet we cannot answer questions about Albert Ojwang and how he died in a police cell. And guys stood and gave us a report and said, we have done everything and everything is okay. And until today, compensation of these victims have never been done in terms of two ways: justice and money, because from our side we've been very clear, compensation is just not monetary. And if you're not going to have some of these characters that have been involved in the deaths of these young people that we are talking about, then we cannot have a conversation. So then how do we reconcile with the same group of people that said the 10-point agenda was successfully implemented, and then now they're coming, oops, and we know very well they're coming because now all of a sudden Anaconda has closed those taps. You're going to have to get used to this word.
Derogatory. That's but
I'm sorry,
what did
Brian,
you call
I know.
Matiang?
I've never called him names. I've never said he's a toady.
All right, let's welcome people of the internet. Hello, people of the internet. Fireplace O'Clock. Thank you very much, Mr. Odhiambo. Boniface is saying, I am on time today, Jagero. And then there is no facing Jagero. How can I be here before you, Bana, with this scorching Glasgow sun? That is somebody in the UK?
Glasgow.
Glasgow. No, that's Glasgow is in, I think it is one of the Scandinavian countries. Okay, Lois Baraza is saying yesterday she was very late and today she's saying we are here no matter what. Rian Sayuni is saying hello people of the internet. He sasa ndo siasa inabamba. Okay, somebody is asking Vash. Okay, Vash, somebody is saying hi to you.
Akona mafans.
Kuna mafan sana. All right, people of the internet, that is George saying, people of the internet tuning in from Mombasa. Gara is saying, Odhiambo, leo ameamua atulete Zwena. Ndio amuendos proper. Yes. All right, ask Abby. We will ask Abby later. Let's say ask Abby whether Sifuna will form his own party since Oburu is hell-bent on supporting Ruto.
Very good question.
Okay. So that's a question that probably she will ask to answer later. Mr. Henry is saying, Jagero, leo Abia tueleze, how will Sifuna solve odious debt that is cancerous? Will Sifuna go after former President Uhuru on the matter of Eurobond? We want our money back. Okay, George Wafula is saying logged in. Political headache is one of the conversation platforms growing rapidly in Kenya and beyond. It turns out for its rich intellectual appeal and commitment to objective analysis.
Objective analysis. Very good.
Objective analysis. Yesterday was fire, see fire.
Fire.
I don't know what yesterday was. All right. Okay, Frederick Opio is saying, Jagero, the brilliant media guru, the show is packed this morning. You've made me laugh political headache at once.
Hey,
okay.
Today you've been on fire. Today Jagero has been on fire. Interview after interview after
All right. Bridget Lydia is saying, hello, people of the internet. Jagero, where is our doll, Joaquim and Mr. Mundalo?
Teddy Bear. Teddy Bear is busy in Homa Bay.
Okay, so people, thank you very much. I want to, we will read some of the messages later on, but I want to go back to Zwena. The issue of Kisumu was a very dramatic issue.
Yeah.
For people who did not know what was going on, where are we starting the story of Kisumu? Because I think it is one of the interesting stories. Because when I was with Atandi and I asked Atandi, why did you tell these people that you are going to use goons, to attack people in Kisumu? And Atandi told me, no, I was not going to use goons. I was going to use the citizens of Kisumu. And then we were going to block them. But then I asked him, so why did you not block them? He said that I got some calls, and I was told that, look, you cannot do that. We don't want. He said that he actually got calls from the members of the business community in Kisumu, telling him that we need peace in Kisumu. Yes. We need peace in Kisumu, and therefore this cannot happen. You decided to go to Kisumu, correct? What are some of the security issues that you guys are looking at? How do you start going about it? Ososi, I don't know whether Ososi was doing reke in Kisumu.
The day he was beaten?
Yes.
No, he wasn't doing any reke.
No.
He likes hanging out in Kisumu. I've seen Ososi so many times.
He loves hanging out in Kisumu.
Yeah.
Kisumu and Vihiga,
So
they are
many
so
times.
close. Actually, so many of our people slept in Kisumu, woke up in the morning to come to Vihiga for the Vihiga rally. Because remember, we started in Vihiga on Saturday. But let's start with how we planned Kisumu.
Okay.
I remember the first tire of threats started on social media. And especially for us, the women, young women that are supporting Linda Mwananchi. One of my good friends, Jen Zibadi, got so threatened she was afraid, did not even attend the rally because of the kind of threats that she was receiving. And they were so intense. It was murderous threats. We're going to kill you. We're going to rape you. We're going to kill you. It's not the first time we've gotten these threats. Yes. I got a lot of threats on my social media DMs, both on TikTok and Facebook and X. And even on the comments of the videos, because I would intentionally just do content videos and tell people we're going to come in Kisumu, people, are you ready to welcome us? And if you look at our messaging, we kept emphasizing that the Luo and the Luya community have been united for the longest, for life. And this ordeal that happened to Senator Osot, is not going to bring a division between these two tribes. And this was a very key messaging that was trickled down from our principals, and they made it very clear, whatever communication you're passing, even as much as we're being told goons are being organized, be specific to say these are the minority that are organizing, and it's coming from a politically organized faction of group, and this does not represent the people of Kisumu. And so our messaging the whole week was geared towards that, and the attacks came in very heavy. Then now we started receiving calls from our people on the ground telling us how goons are being organized. We were getting even videos and photos, some we couldn't even post on social media. We were getting calls from the people that were being mobilized to actually cause chaos.
They were now calling you guys.
Yes,
directly.
and giving us intel. Tumeambiwa hivi na hivi na hivi. Tulikuwa hata ndio hizi voice notes. And I'm so happy because that shows a level of maturity that over and above young people being mobilized to be goons, they are being sober enough to know this is not right. So the bare minimum I'm going to do is tell this other side what they are planning against them. Ndio nao hawajipange.
So what was the nature of the messaging looking like? Which one maybe surprised you most in what these goons were being told to do, or what these good citizens were being told to do, so that they could act as goons?
One was the kind of the level of weapons that they were being equipped with, in terms of pangas and the big sticks, and in terms of even circulation of photos, because I know there were meetings that were being held, and myself and a few people were being completely targeted. It was a whole targeted campaign. And I remember even people, even my close friends that live in Kisumu, and even some that are politically connected, would call me and tell me, "Akiabusi ende Kisumu." But I knew by doing that was me admitting that I have bought fear this early. So it was, for me, there was no way I was not going to attend the Kisumu rally. And I remember having to even sit down with my family and preparing for the worst. You know, it's as real as that.
Tell them, Mommy, if I don't come
in
back.
case I don't come back, I'm going to try as much as not to die, but in case I end up in a hospital, I'm going to fight to be alive. Because in my head, and even my conversation with God was like, I'm going to make sure I don't die. So even if I'm attacked, I'm going to beg and cry. I had whole strategies of crying to my attackers if they get to me. But then we had to have strategies on how the women are going to be safe and how the men are going to... and part of our strategy was, of course, not sleeping in Kisumu. Which
so
you
guys didn't sleep in Kisumu?
Yes.
But I saw you at Sovereign Hotel.
I slept in Kisumu the material day.
Okay.
But the day before Vihiga, I slept in Vihiga. So the day after the rally, actually the day of the rally, I didn't even sleep in Kisumu. I drove back. I think I messaged you and told you I can't even sleep here. I take a chance for my security. And
nobody could have touched you in Kisumu.
Yes, I came to know that after we saw the crowds, and they were so happy. Yes. But we even had friends.
This is Odhiambo talking so well after the fact.
Yeah, we also...
She knows. Nobody could touch
we had friends also now organize security for us. And people are like, no, we've actually told people to watch out for you guys, and you're going to be safe. So that also gave us a lot of confidence in knowing that Kisumu had to be conquered one way or another. We did Vihiga. Vihiga was very successful. No hitches, no organized goons.
It was very peaceful.
It was very peaceful. Mulembe guys are chilled guys. And they were also welcoming their son, Senator Osotsi. They were like, please come. We hear you. We see you. We're going to push you for governor, because he's going for governor, Vihiga County. So
he's going to contest an ODM?
Yes, or whatever party we're going to decide on.
Interesting. Or whichever party.
Or whichever party we're going to decide on, since, we are still trying to figure
Read
out.
between the lines.
Yeah.
Read between the lines.
Okay.
So we go to Kisumu in the morning. After we hig up a lot of
Before
people
you go to Kisumu,
Yeah.
sorry to ask, but
No problem.
it is interesting that you were the politics of Linda Wananchi at the very top. All right, so it will equal something like what we had in, or even beyond what we saw in Malindi.
Right.
That a day before the president had a very small rally in Moranga. With everybody in a cap. I don't know how can have a rally. I should be respectful. Like everybody was in a cap. You can't have a rally where everybody's in a cap.
Manze,
A new cap.
some of these,
Odhiambo.
they should even plan. You get too real.
Yeah, so,
it's okay.
and anyway, the question that I'm asking
Yeah.
before I lose the point is that don't you think that there should have been a communication with authorities, the police, Odhiambo, the OCPD in Kisumu? Were you guys talking with any?
Yes, we have our team of lawyers that always send out letters and notifications that we are going to have a rally. Honorable Babu Owino planned this, everything to the latter. We followed the law. He's a lawyer. He's an advocate of the High Court, so he's able to understand what provisions that he should adhere to, and he did that. But you see, over and above that, you have to be privy to the realities of our rallies, that the police are not always on our side, and we've gotten comfortable with that by the time we are getting to the Kisumu rally. We appreciate the most of the efforts that they can do, which is keep away, just show up but not interfere with us trying to access our rally grounds, which is what they did in Kisumu. And I want to commend them. They did not fight the goons, but they allowed us to fight them. Because we were also at a point where you can't just stand and unatupiwa mawe. Usiona mtu anakuja na panga ati usimame hapo sema Yesu Kristo save me. You also have to have strategies to ensure that you people are going. And what I appreciate about our leaders is they were leading from the front. Honorable Babu Owino kept updating us of everything, from even gearing up to the Kisumu rally. This is where we are at. These are the insecurities we are going to face. This is how we are planning to counter. We're not promising you it won't be, violent, but we're promising you we are going to get to the rally ground. So at the end of every messaging was that message of hope that please do not buy into fear. Avoid social media if you need to, if that is going to sell you fear. And I think at a time I had to log out from social media and just post videos and go out so that I don't buy into that fear. And so in the morning, as early as in the morning, even when we were going to church, goons had already also come outside the church. And you could see Honorable Babu Owino again saying, I know there are goons in the church. People deal with them. I know there are goons positioniwa hapa. We know. He was even naming them because we have their names. And that's a good thing about your enemy. You can't allow them to hide in darkness. You have to name them. Once you name them, they don't like being on the light. In the limelight, they completely just go back into their cocoon and go back into darkness and hide, because that is where they can thrive the most. And so calling out these perpetrators of violence and goonism that had been planted by the various people, and some of them had made pronouncements, like Honorable Atandi. He kept saying we won't have a rally in Kisumu, so it's not like he's going to hide now.
There are people that think that there is no sound. Huh? Okay. Echo.
Iko sawa?
There is sound, eh? All right. Some people are pulling our legs.
Yes.
Watu ya Kisumu.
Walipanga hii maneno, si hatuko tumepangiwa. It's just that as always we always say one goon you allocate 10 mwananchi. So the people were overwhelmed them, and they were able to push through them, and we were able to walk 10 kilometers to our rally ground. I want to remind Kenyans that there's only 3 occasions where Kenyans have walked for that long. Ile time ya Baba while you were away, you walked from JKA to town during Baba's funeral, and that time was in our Kisumu rally. That communicated something to us.
All right.
And even interacting with those people, because there were so many, we were moving so slowly, and we were having conversations with them. And guys were saying, we are hungry, we don't have money, nipatie 50 bob, but let this be the last 50 bob unanipatia juu munaenda kuokoa hii uchumi yetu. It was so clear. And they were telling us, we are with you guys, Kisumu is one term. Kisumu imechoka na hii serikali. We don't support this regime, musidanganywe. And I think that is why there was such a concentrated effort to ensure we don't enter Kisumu and find the realities on the ground. Because if you believe social media, you're going to believe Kisumu, Luo Nyanza, is two-term and they support this regime, but they don't. The young people, because 80% were young people, but 20% were also women and wazes, they were coming, and children, they were out there in this, and they walked with us all the way from the church to the rally grounds, stayed there until everybody talked and left. And they sent one message, Babu Owino ni kimpin wali Nyanza. You guys, that guy mobilized by himself. Nobody helped, even James Orengo. It was Babu Owino, I have to say that categorically. And that was his home. And it was very important for him to make a statement because previously people had told him, unaimagine mtu anakuja anakuambia wezi enda kwenyu. Mimi sasa mtu aniambia siwezi ingia Gilgil kwenye nilizaliwa mimi.
Unazaliwa Gilgil?
Yes. Na kwenye wazazi wangu wameishi, like my whole life is there. Somebody telling me you cannot come to Gilgil. Of course I will want to make a statement and show you. Never dare me in the comfort of where I was born and lived, where I have grown, and I am a success story. I mean, his mother used to sell changa. Found a way to fundraise and educate him all the way now that he's coming to ask for permission. Can you allow me to go and vie for Nairobi gubernatorial seat? And can you bless me? And they did, and they told him. So it was, for us, Kisumu was a moment for us to be legitimized in a whole other level, getting this backing from Baba's backyard, them telling us, go, you have our blessings and we have your back. I think now we are ready to enter every other part of Kenya.
The morning before you guys started before you started the Kisumu rally, there is a group of border people.
Yes.
that are shown. The video actually goes really viral. I was first made aware of that video by Odhiambo. What did you guys see the border?
Yes.
And then what were you, because I imagine that before you start your operations, all right? You're saying, how are you going to deal with this?
So remember, we are in Ciala Resort.
Right.
And so we get the news and the videos, of course, before even they go viral. And then we decide, let's also just release them to show them that we know what they're planning. And so we also send our advance team to go and deal with them and disperse them. And then as they're dispersing them, we all leave in our cars. And as we are leaving, as they're dispersing them, not everybody is dispersed, because there were some that threw stones, and we had 2 cars of our aspirants from Nairobi that got destroyed in the process. And we had very, very quickly look for a tow car to just remove them, and then they joined other cars, and we continued with the procession. So the goal of the day was to move regardless of us finding goons planted in various spots, and to find ways to overwhelm them and have our advanced security team try to disperse them as we penetrate. But the point was not until they be dispersed and then we wait and then we go. We were like, no. This has to happen simultaneously. Disperse as we move. So that these guys, once they see the masses and the mini cars, they're like, hey, how are we going to deal with that? So we also moved as a team, tactfully, and there was a lot of boldness moving around us, and God, I won't lie to you. We were told in
the morning, we were told that the place where you had originally wanted to set the tents, the tents were removed, there were goons all over the place.
Yes.
But then suddenly now, when we started seeing the transmission of whatever was going on in Kisumu, there was a tent and there were aujas.
Yes. We had communicated to one venue to the guys on the ground so that the goons can go and do what they want to do, and then we had the legitimate venue. We are young people, we are very proactive in ideas and diversionary tactics, so we had to deploy that. So there was one venue that everybody thought we were gonna go, and then there was the legitimate venue that was the right venue.
Okay. And so the question is, I think, Odhiambo, is it your government that was trying to not to allow the Linda Wananchi team to have their time with the people in Kisumu, or should I ask you to ask Zuena the same? Zuena, who did not want you to have a rally in Kisumu? Who does not want Sifuna to go to Radio Jambo tomorrow?
Of course, it's the government. I'm not gonna lie, and the affiliates of the Linda Tumbo side of ODM, because it goes to the core of what they have sold to Anaconda that they have as a backyard. Get used to that word. I'm not going to change it. I love it so much. I use it in all my posts.
But Anaconda is a large, big snake.
It's not a C, it's a K.
For the purposes.
Anaconda, it's a K. My Anaconda is a K, not a C.
Abby, I love you very much.
Yes.
Okay.
For the purposes of this interview, can you just say Mr. President?
Okay, can I say Kasongo Basi?
No, Mr. President is
But
fine.
he even calls himself Kasongo. So thank you. Let me just...
I wanted to say something.
But at least it makes you laugh.
It makes me laugh. want to say something, Jagero. I would say quite categorically, because you have met the people who are overzealous in Kisumu with myself. They have mocked me in your presence. You know them. These fellows, it can't be, because, and that's why I wrote on my Facebook page that morning, because I know Kisumu people read my page very well. There's a team in Kisumu that is very overzealous about Raymond Omolo, about President Ruto. And overzealous, the zealots are the ones who killed Jesus. Yeah, the zealots, the people who are to believe in him.
The Sadducees.
Yes, they're the ones who are to make things happen for Jesus. They're the ones who killed him. The reality is, having been in Kisumu and having grown up there, one, you can never threaten a man from Nyalenda. It will never work. Because they're used to violence, number one. So it can never work, it will never work, even if they're old. You try to threaten them, they just revert to the young them, and they'll deal with you.
Odhiambo, what is the difference between... can you be able to profile Nyalenda? There is Nyalenda, there is Manyata, there is Kondele, there is Obunga.
Yes, it's Bandani.
Mainly. Bandani.
So let me profile for you.
Okay.
In a very easy way, because that's where I was born. I was born in Nyalenda, specifically Western Lane. Okay, and that's why I spent my formative years. I only exited that place when I was 21 years, and I got some money as a university teacher. Now I had to move to the other side of town.
You got some money as a university teacher, or from Rasanga's government, from Ranguma's government? Why you dishonest?
I didn't get any serious money from Ranguma's government.
Huh?
I didn't get any serious money. That's why I'm here with you. If I got money from Ranguma's government,
you did not be here with us.
Yeah, bro.
Where will you be?
Somewhere else. You don't know.
Where will you be?
Are you seeing any person who has been in
Anyway, go ahead.
So, this is how it works. Nyalenda is the home of hope, but also the home of the absence of hope.
Okay.
And we have two pathways out of Nyalenda. You either grow to be a mafia lord, and you enter into the goonship, or you enter into theft, organized crime, etc. Or you excel in academia and go out.
So those are the only two...
The only two sure ways.
Where?
There's a very risky path of business, but you will only excel in business after you are out of Nyalenda, which means you've taken this other pathway or this other pathway. Because you can follow goonship and become a businessman.
Okay.
You can reinvest the capital you receive.
True, we've seen it. We've seen it.
I've seen goons in Kisumu who have actually turned to be huge businessmen. Some of them own transport companies that are operating.
In Nairobi,
yeah. So, Nyalenda is, of all the slums, Nyalenda is the most volatile place in terms of it's the residence of the criminal gangs. We've had 41 brothers, or the 42 brothers, if you remember. Anybody comes from Nyalenda knows Weje. They know Mada, they know Obias, they know the most dangerous of the dangerous people live there. Then, when it comes to violence, especially political violence, Nyalenda has the longest stretch, and it borders Milimani. Now, what is Milimani? Milimani is where top government officers live. It is also the host of some of the biggest institutions, like Central Bank is in Milimani. We have the national government headquarters in Kisumu is in Milimani. And many more, IBC, you name it, is in Milimani. So any potent political aggression comes from Nyalenda. Okay. But then there is a center in Kisumu which is more significant, but they're not residents of Kisumu. Now that is Kondele. Kondele is a meeting point. It's a meeting point of the following slums. Obunga, which Obunga is named after, Nyawita, Manyata, Mamboleo area, there's a small slum somewhere there. Then, which other side? Yeah, basically those ones. They normally meet at Kondele. But Kondele also has people from Mumias, like Rashid Echesa. It was actually a conductor in Kondele. This guy was made CS for sports.
Okay.
Alikuwa anapiga magari hapo Kondele. So it's somebody that we have those lawyers who come from Vihiga, Wapi, wanakuja hapo kupiga biashara, then kifika jioni they go away. Now, Manyata is known for hardcore criminals. Hardcore, wale wenye, they come from Kapenesa, somewhere huko ndani. They're very hardcore. Some of them have guns. They've been gunned down quite severely. And Manyata is also potent for blockading the Kisumu-Kakamega road, because they're the guys who then spill over to Kondele and then spill over to Kondele and blocking that road. Obunga is majorly your game. Same to Manyata, people from game. But Obunga is well known for Magendo in Kisumu. If you want any backdoor deal, because the factories are somewhere there. And when they steal things from the factory, the first place they land is Obunga. So Obunga is well known for Magendo, but it's also well known as one of the recently very developed slums through something called the Kisi program that made a lot of tarmac around the slums, including Nyalenda anyway. Then Bandani huko, majorly Muslims and Arabs mixed, yeah, walalahoi ambao wako huko. So in terms of growing, Nyalenda produces very good brains, of course. The same to Manyata, like Willis Otieno of Safina, not Sifuna.
Safina Pesa.
It's okay.
Of Safina
Sema
Pesa.
tu ndio Sifuna tumalizie.
Comes from Manyata. It's a product from Manyata. I know a very serious lawyer in this town called Ogada, who also comes from Manyata, and very many more who had the opportunity. The place where I rarely find very good brains in terms of academia is Obunga. But there's one person who I know is one of the senior prosecutors at the office of the Director of Public Prosecution. It's called J.V. Owiti, who comes from Obunga. Obunga is destroyed with alcohol, okay? But since Uhuru's intervention in 2013-14 or thereabout, with the Kazim Tani thing, there's a change in all the slums. So the violence that was resident has exited most of the slum, because you realize that these thieves, we talk to them. Like when an operation happens in Kisumu, like the day they hit me here, I just talked to some of them and told me the person who's running the operation is XYZ. Because we know. Kama kuna operation tajua, when operation walikuwa wanatoka Manyata. They even have an agreement of now they operate.
Killing and robbing people is called an operation.
Yeah, it's an operation.
It's an operation. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. They respect each other. They know that today mwenye nakimbia huko ni XYZ, mwenye nakimbia. Even if a gun gets
organized.
lost, it's a very organized
very
criminal
impressed.
or whatever.
I don't support it, but
yeah, it's very organized. Because me, I knew the guys who hit me. And I stayed in Kisumu for that month, and we
dealt with them.
Yeah, kitu kidogo tukamaliza peacefully. Yeah. So there's a way those things are done. So yeah, that's basically the profile. Now, people from Nyalenda, those ones don't joke with them when it comes to political mobilization, and Babu is one of them. Babu grew up in a place called Kawota. Kawota and Western, where I grew up, is almost
it's called Kawota because of the Kenya
like Victoria Ward Southwest Services Board, where Owedi was the chair. Yeah, so that's why it's called Kawota, that lane. So that's where Mama Babu was with Babu, and it's somebody that is well known. People see him and people know our boy, you know. Even when he came to Nairobi and started vying for Nairobi University, whatever, we're like, this boy, what's wrong with him? The next thing is driving big cars. The next thing, this fellow wants to contest Westland. The next thing is MP for Embakasi. The next thing is going for the governor. He represents for the people of Kisumu, especially the young men who grew up in the early 2000s, what effort can be and what effort can bring to somebody. He's an actuarist. Do you know that Babu studied actuarial science?
Yes.
He was with my wife in one class. Yeah. 2, Babu is a lawyer. Very impressive. 3, this guy has the tact of politics. So when he goes back to Nyalenda or Kisumu, he does not go back as an ordinary, as an elite. He goes back as an ordinary because he's talking to somebody called Olivetti. You met Olivetti?
Yes.
Olivetti, in terms of the organization, operation rank, nobody can match Olivetti in Kisumu. All of us know it.
The last time you were telling me a different name, no, suddenly it is Olivetti.
No, we leave alone. There's Boyakot, who is, of course,
the other side
side. But nobody can match it.
Yes,
there is a press conference. There is a press conference of the Ambo.
Yes.
That was put together by a group of young people.
Yes.
And they were talking against the attack on Utsotsi.
Yes.
And it was a very long press conference, and the gentleman was speaking very articulately. Who is that?
So that is the Olivetti team. Olivetti is not a young man. Olivetti is could be 51 or 2 today. He's called Buddha, actually.
Buddha.
Yeah, Olivetti is old. Yeah, he's not a young man. And Olivetti has been in the protection business for a long time. One day they call him a bodyguard of these politicians. And somebody like President Ruto gained access to Kisumu because of Olivetti. When Kisumu was hostile, it is this Olivetti used to take him to Kondele. It is this Olivetti used to organize boys for him. These are the people not even very much for him because these are the people by then were in Uhuru's team. Okay? So someone like Olivetti, you cannot, and even those guys know, you cannot. They clobbered. I mean, Olivetti's guys clobbered those guys properly and that ran away. You saw it.
Oh my God,
they clobbered properly. but what I found shocking was this guy called Jacob. This Boda Boda guy. Because Babu Owino did an Arambe for him. And Babu Owino gave him 400,000. Yes, for Boda Boda, and it's not even 3 months ago. Then all of a sudden he's been given some Njugu Karanga, Akatema Big G.
Imagine.
Akatema Big G? Yes, Njugu Karanga. It was really pissing me off, genuinely. It was pissing me off. Genuinely. I didn't like
Odhiambo, there is Nyalenda and Kasagam.
Yes.
What is the relationship between Nyalenda and Kasagam?
So now, Nyalenda, that's a very good question. Let's profile this slum.
Yeah.
So Nyalenda is originally for 2 people. It is the Sagam. Then Sagam are Luyas, just next to Maseno. They're called the Sagam.
Okay.
Who moved to Kisumu. They were working majorly in town. Then they settled in Nyalenda, which had cheaper accommodation. So majorly walikuwa wanafanya kazi za nyumba, right? And then groundsmen, etc. Because of education issues, of course. Then later on, we had Jokano. So Sagam and Kano are living together. Jokano, especially Kolwa. Kolwa that spreads from Nyamasaria. Originally 1960s and before 1960s, they were living on the other side of River Wigwa. When did you do to River Wigwa?
Yes.
So that river, beyond it, was Kano.
But what is beyond that river? Is it a forest? What is it?
No, it's not a forest. It's a very huge piece of land that was to be given to some Israeli to do some agriculture on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was originally Kano land, but the El Nino floods of 1963, called El Nino, removed Jokano from that side.
Okay.
And they were brought to safety on this other side of Sagam, where Kasagam were.
Okay.
And then they infused. So whatever you see in Nyalenda today, Nyalenda initially, actually by the time we were building there, Nyalenda was homes of people. It was not easy rentals. It was homes. That even if you're renting in somebody's home.
Homes a village?
Yes. It was like a village.
Okay.
The Luyas had their homes there, their homesteads.
So
like our house.
Okay.
I've only been to our house, right? Opposite, there's a very big mango tree.
Yeah.
That's a homestead. And all around us is homesteads.
All right.
Okay. Then later on, of course, out of commercialization, they started selling the plots. So it is Kano and Luyas. Okay,
so when you get to Katoro,
yes, Katoro,
and you take the road that slopes down towards Nanga, and then as you reach the other route that Nyong'o built recently, then on the other side where you have the lake, there are homes along that strip. Which ones are those?
Those ones are settlers. All of those ones are settlers. Like once you come from Kilo, yeah. In fact, I remember in 2001, for the first time when we moved from Nyalenda Substantive.
Okay.
I think my dad got some money and we went to live in this other side. We experienced sitting on a toilet, unakunia ndani ya nyumba. Sorry. Like you're using the toilet in the house.
Yeah.
And you could shower also in the house. So from
it's a big privilege.
Very big. From Kilo to this side, it is majorly settlers, lower middle class. Those ones who have transited from Nyalenda, AB, they're coming to start in lower Milimani.
Okay.
Right? And then of course, huko, pia wazungu wanapenda. Dunga Hill, Camperia, nini. Whites love that place so much. So most of those homes are actually people who are abroad.
Okay.
They've just rented them out.
And then there is sorry. It's important that we get the history of the city. When you slope into Nyawita,
yes,
you slope into Nyawita and then into Obunga.
Yes.
So who are the Nyawita people and then who are the Obunga people? What is the difference?
Well, Nyawita is also, you also experience Nyawita and Obunga is sort of the same thing. They're Jogame.
Okay.
Game people from Siaya. Are very many in Obunga, and because initially your relative was either working for railway or posta, and especially railway. Now those ones who came to Kisumu and were working for railway lived around Obunga. Okay, And very few lived in Nyalenda because it was easier to cross from railway into Obonga.
Yeah.
So they then brought their people. Or the people came visiting.
Okay.
So like one person gets a job, then we all go to visit him. As we go to visit him, the population grows.
Okay.
And Obonga is not so big. It's a very small, the name is always big, but Obonga is very small.
Okay.
Then it spills over to Nyawita.
All right.
Though Nyawita also has Jopango. So in Obonga and Nyawita, there are no homesteads as much. It's a settlement. It's an actual slum.
All right.
Then Manyata. Now Manyata is very interesting because Manyata hosts some of the most historic things in this country. It hosts the Legio Maria sort of headquarters in the urban side of things. Apart from Gotkweru, it is in Konalejo. You've ever heard of Konalejo?
Yes.
Then we have Konambaya. Then we have Konambuta. Hivo.
But you keep talking about these corners, and there are no corners.
No, they are corners actually. They're actually corners. Like if you are at corner, if you come from Kondele, the first corner you make is Konalejo.
Those are tarmacs.
Yes, that's tarmac. Konalejo.
But there were no tarmacs before, so why are they calling them corners? The tarmac followed the corner.
Yes, it followed the name. Then there's Konambaya. Do you remember Konambaya?
Yes.
But you know, even if a place was called corner and I may change, you can't change the name just because a
Yes,
corner had
but
now
they're
disappeared.
actually corners.
But now at
Yeah,
least
so
this
Konambaya
case, they're corners.
is crime, nini, Konambuta, they were selling Buta, it's known as such. Yeah.
Hey, Brian,
Then we
why
have
haven't you
Baraka.
ever thought of vying in Kisumu?
Okay, and then
I have the history of Kisumu.
and then lastly, before I go back to
Yes,
Zwena,
yes.
from Manyata you go to Kondele.
Yeah.
From Kondele you slope down to the right as you go to Car Wash, and there are houses up until you get to the Maram Road.
Yes.
And then if you leave that, you go the Lake Basin way. You go up the road, up the hill, but there are people there before you actually slope to the other side.
Actually, can I tell you? From Lake Basin Mall,
Okay.
anything behind Lake Basin Mall, up to airport, all those people who have built there, they've built on illegal land. Those lands will be degazetted, and they will lose those property. Anybody who has built from behind Lake Basin Mall to the other side, the only land there that is legal is Uzima University. Anything else, Moi gave his people. It's a very illegal process. In fact, National Lands Commission has talked about it several. They've even degazetted some titles. I think those guys were in court or something. Yeah, but then there's Kanyakwar. Kanyakwar now are the owners of this other side.
Okay.
They are Lego who came to Kisumu. So they're the ones who are occupying. If you fly into Kisumu above Lake Basin Mall, you will find some funny homesteads, which are 20 iron sheet roofs. But there are so many. That land also is disputed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the last question now. This is now a political question on Kisumu. We have Kisumu East, we have Kisumu West, and then we have all these guys. I mean, to who do they have their allegiance to?
They had
Their allegiance to who is to who?
Kisumu Central is very volatile.
Okay.
The party always gives them what they want. They don't bow to the party. Kisumu West is always independent. They voted Olago 3 times on some funny party called Ford Kenya.
Ford Kenya is not a funny party.
It's a funny party. Because it was
Ford Kenya is what Raila
In
wanted.
the middle of Luonyanza.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's a funny party. Then, which one again did you ask? Kisumu East. Kisumu East is also rebellious. They're Jokanu. They've always given Shakil on independent ticket. Now I think he's serving the 4th term or something like that. It's a very funny. Kisumu is very funny. Raila had to submit to Kisumu. Kisumu was not submitting to Raila.
Eish.
Yeah. He feared Kisumu. In fact, he respected Kisumu.
But because his fight with the people of Kisumu started with Oile.
No, before.
Before Ile.
One day we'll have a history.
Oile was a mayor.
Yeah. One day we'll have a talk about the history of the CIA imperialists and Kisumu.
Okay.
Is this why Atandi would come from CIA and think he can dictate what happens in Kisumu?
I don't want to talk about Atandi.
You know,
It
I
puts me in a
don't
very
understand
awkward
him.
place.
I could not understand why
Huh?
he would.
Yeah, I could talk about him for ages, but it puts me in a very awkward place.
Yeah.
So I choose to abstain.
I choose to abstain. You're not going to put your vote on the table. No. That is up to you.
On Atandi, yes,
But
I abstain.
You'll abstain. Okay, very good. Abstaining is also good. I want to go back to Zwena on this, on the politics of Linda Wananchi. They have said that they want to go for the presidency. How is this going to work? Because I think you've got a lot of hurdles to jump over. You are still wondering whether you're going to stay in ODM. You're wondering whether you're going to go to Renaissance People's Movement. You're wondering whether should we go to the United Opposition. What is the path? Because clearly, Odhiambo wants you to be the vice president, to Sifuna.
Can we drop that statement for now?
Yes. That's by the way. You don't need to disregard.
Yes. Thank you.
We are praying for you.
Disregard.
Yeah.
What is the path?
I think one thing is very clear with us. We're going to have a presidential candidate. I know my presidential candidate is Edwin Sifuna.
Okay.
The rest are just things that we are figuring out along the way. Do we have a backup plan in terms of party? Yes, you've mentioned the Renaissance Movement Party. It's there. It's owned by one of the principals from Linda Mwananchi. A lot of comfort about that. Do we need to figure out a few things inside that party? Yes, but I actually know about him.
I don't know.
So, Brian, which town do you live in?
Nairobi.
You need to know people.
Okay. I'll talk to you behind the tent.
But I also love what we are doing with the ODM supporters and ensuring that we transition them and prepare them for the eventuality of what will happen. There's also this other possibility that we seem to sort of just try to ignore, being the fact that the Linda Tumbo people are going to come back and apologize. And then at the end of the day, we all know the mystery of who owns the ODM certificate and document, because everybody says, I own. And so I know eventually whoever has that party's ODM certificate is going to show up, and a lot of decisions are going to be done around that. So I feel we don't have a lot of confusion. We are very clear we're going to have a presidential candidate. The rest doesn't need to be figured out now. It would be an injustice to expect it to be figured out now, because it means we have all our cards on the table and then everybody can just attack us from whatever side way. So I love the mystery that surrounds Linda Mwananchi, because then you can't really know where to attack us from. There's so much mystery that even me, I'm stuck in that mystery, and I love it because it helps me to creatively and selflessly support this movement based on the ideological aspect of it. And at least that one we have gotten figured out. We are supporting the Sifuna ideology because of who he has been and what he has stood for over time, forever unchanging on his on very specific things in terms of constitutionalism, rule of law. Did you see what I did there? Because the other one cannot say that word. Democracy and so forth.
The other one, you mean Anaconda?
No, see the other honorable me.
Okay.
Yes, so I love that we are mobilizing people towards an ideology. We are giving young people, please remember Gen Zs when they did their maandamano, they said they are leaderless, right? And we saw how that panned out. So now we are dealing with that aspect and telling them we are moving to a place and a season where we can no longer say we are leaderless. And so this faction of Linda Mwananchi resonates a lot with them. And we've seen a lot of people that were in the streets spearheading mandamanos have now joined Linda Mwananchi. Sophie Njehia, Wanjira Wanjiru, very key people, and many more are going to come. Because at the end of the day, these are conversations that are happening progressively. And we're telling them we need to move from the streets to now real power play. And Linda Mwananchi is offering that space for young people to come and engage. That is why we are participating so vigorously, and we are part of the conversations and key decision-making processes. It's not easy, but I can tell you from all the formations that we've seen, I feel Linda Mwananchi is the one that gives young people the biggest platform to engage, participate, and be part of. Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys are alive to a few facts that are on the table. For example, you can decide. Sifuna is a presidential candidate. If Linda Mwananchi were to stick to that lane, it means that we now have the second presidential candidate, which is William Ruto. Okay, and then we have the third, which is United Opposition. Have you thought about how the arithmetics work out?
Yeah.
At the tail end of the day, like for example, we have, can we say Kalonzo Musyoka, for lack of a better person?
Yeah, yes.
And then, and then we have Sifuna.
Yes.
And then we have President Ruto. What happens? What is your prediction? What are the numbers saying?
Our end game is to ensure by the time Edwin Sifuna and the Linda Mwananchi team gets to that table, we have the most bargaining power. And they're asking us, what do you want? Not the other way around. my mayor, I'm existing to ensure that is a reality. That by the time Edwin Sifuna sits on that table, even with Safina Party, we've made so much impact and we have so many numbers. We are the ones calling the shots and telling people and pangaing them. Because our core mandate as Linda Mwananchi is to ensure young people have the majority of the say once we come to decide who is going to be the presidential candidate or who is going to be this ticket, how is it going to look like. And I like that the leaders of the united opposition have also been very clear. Kila mtu atakuja na numbers zake. Rigathi Gachagua has said that. Kalonzo Musyoka has actually been told, go and consolidate your block. We're also consolidating our block.
What is your block?
Our block is young people and the previously ODM affiliated zones and the young people. So our work and why we are doing all these rallies and engaging young people and moving from counties to counties and regions to regions is to ensure we are consolidating our numbers, we are spreading the ideologies of our movement, and we are happy that we have even entered into the zones of this so-called united opposition. Their young people gravitate towards us more. We are having young people from Jubilee, Wiper, even DCP come and attend our rallies. That is very impressive. And that is us sending a message that we are not going to come to that table. You guys are going to come to our table. I'll give you an example. It should worry the United, not worry, it should impress them very much that when Kalonzo Musyoka holds a rally in the coast region, young people wearing his t-shirts of Wiper Party are saying, Sisi ndio Sifuna. I mean, we saw that video of the viral young lady who did a whole introduction of how Sifuna introduces himself. And they said the first marking scheme they're going to do is anybody who voted yes for the finance bill is going home. And the second agenda she pushed was Mimi ndio Sifuna. This was her saying there's an ideology as a young person inside Wiper that we have already aligned with. And we are telling, and this is forcing now these united opposition leaders, anytime they hold a microphone, ata Sifuna tunashikana na yeye, munapenda hiyo, because they know they're going to get a reaction. And I like that, because at the end of the day, by the time we get to that table, we're not going there as do second fiddle at you guys. No, we're going to go there and tell them this is how this is going to work out and this is how it's going to pan out.
Is there a possibility, therefore, that you can actually go your separate ways if everybody is asking what are you bringing to the table and saying, okay, you've got something to the table, but we actually needed tea. It looks like you have coffee. So do you think that you guys might not disagree? So that if I go back to my question again, we have Sifuna saying we went to a summit with the united opposition,
and we didn't agree.
We didn't agree.
Yes.
So we are leaving the summit very disappointed that we were not able to hash out something. So people of Kenya, we are very disappointed, but we want to say that we have decided as Linda Mwananchi. At that point, you might be having another name altogether. But we have said that we are going to go to the ballot alone. We are also going to have the DCP lectern shortly after. They are going to have their own announcement and say that we tried as much as possible to come together with the young men. But the thing, we couldn't agree on a few issues, and so we will go with Kalonzo Musyoka as the presidential candidate. Will be deputized by Matiang'i. I don't know who is going to deputize Sifuna at that time, but I'm not going to get into that issue because it is something that gives you jitters. Yes. So then we have 3 horses.
Yes. Which is fair enough.
How does that work? How does that work?
At the end of the day, none of them gets the 50+1 markup. So it's actually not the worst case scenario.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we are going to be left with again 2 of them that needs to go at it, and everybody gets to gravitate towards that.
Are you afraid that Sifuna might just slip into number 3?
We can't be number 3. If we decide it's Sifuna and we choose our running mate, oh my God, we are taking all these guys home.
So then why are you going
Actually,
to why are you going to the older men? They're going to have you're going to be having a lot of baggage.
I didn't say we're going to. I said they're going to come to us.
Oh yeah.
Do you know why that would happen? That is a very welcomed idea. We are not going to go to their tables and take that to the bank. They're going to come to us. And that has the signs of that are already playing out in the public domain. Why we are comfortable with having, and why I would be comfortable with having that conversation with the old guys, is because there's a common factor that unites us and is a bigger call to action than our interest and the interest of the people of Kenya, which is Ruto must go. And we have reasons for that. When we see what is happening in the health sector of this country, when we continuously push the CS of health to publish payment details so that we can see where these monies have been going to, and they refuse, and previously we audited and we saw ghost hospitals receiving money, and they refuse to release such key information data, it worries us because the health sector is going down the drain. When we look at the education, I mean, today in the morning, we looked at capitation per student and it is worrying, and yet the office of the deputy president is being added more money. And we are looking at how they are using funds and holding meetings in State House. Today, they were hosting the Kirinyaga delegation, giving them ridiculous amount of money, tokeism, when the education sector is crumbling. We look at the private sector of this country that should be capacity building government in terms of employment, but the policy framework of this country has ensured businesses are closing down, companies are resizing, people are being laid down from their jobs and so forth. The state of this country is very worrying. And so that unites us over and above all these other things that would ideally separate everybody in the opposition. And please remember, at the end of the day, these are people that have interacted before. And a generational conversation needs to happen. We are not aloof to the fact that even as much as we are young people and there's a way we want to do things, we're not going to sit down with our elders and have conversations. It would be an injustice to remove them from the equation of steering the country ahead and forming a coalition that allows us to get this regime out, if that is what it takes for us to save this country.
All right.
Yes.
We have Kalonzo Musyoka. Let's go to them, right? What does he bring to the table, Kalonzo Musyoka?
I think comfort to the few parents that are left. Just comfort, if you ask me.
Okay.
I have zero chemistry with the guy. I don't know how to interact with him, but and how I feel around him. But I also know he has been a friend to Baba and ODM party for the longest. So there's that. That speaks a lot about him, the loyalty. And when I remember Kalonzo, I remember him holding the pay bill number.
For whom?
For Raila. You don't remember that?
You know, the uncle used to beg money like that.
And Baba was here saying, donate to us through this pay bill. Kalonzo is just there confidently holding that pay bill number. And that makes me say, okay, Sawa, I see how long you've waited for this. But again, is that enough? Yeah. So I feel he's a safe, diplomatic blanket that will allow people to feel, okay, maybe these young people will not be as aggressive as they are. Because at the end of the day, we have this generation that feels, munakuja sana as young people. And you have to cater for their feelings and ensure they come out to vote, right? Because we don't want any bloc to feel they have not been catered for in this presidential ticket. Like, I'm going to tell you, it's a conversation I have with my mom, and she says, mkieka Kalonzo hapo tutafeel poor. So you're like, wow.
Watafeel poor.
Hey, and it's okay if this is the person who's going to make them feel okay. We can wake up and vote Sawa. And if Edim Sifuna is the person that makes us young people feel vibrant about, like what Brian is saying, feel the electrifying emotion to show up.
You guys, if you take over the government, you're gonna have Kalonzo Musyoka as the CS Foreign Affairs.
I mean, he has a good relationship with the international community, so kudos.
The guy likes being his team.
And you're going to make regard the interior.
Come on.
Ridiculous.
But I like that Rigathi says things like in Nairobi he's gonna have conversations with cousins because he's done his due diligence and knows Babu Owino is gonna take a gubernatorial seat for Nairobi and he's not willing to. So I love that he's smart politically and he's organizing Mount Kenya and he's really locked that block. That is why people are leaving State House from Kirinyaga in buses. They were shouting one term.
Really?
Yes, there are videos.
So why did they go to State House?
To take money.
There's a video.
Yes, their leaders. Rigathi Gachagua told the Mount Kenya community very clearly, you are called for money. Me, I don't have money to give you. Go pick that money. But please stay alert. Yes, so they took their videos. I'll show you. They were saying there's even a guy who tried to say, tuta alitolewa kwa basi. Alambia wetoka hapa. When kama hii pesa imeanza kukuharibu kitu.
How much was it that these guys drove for?
10,000.
10,000 per person.
Yeah.
Well,
and I say it's fair enough.
How many
and let
were
it
they?
be known so that even if he's calling other communities, watu wapatiwe the same. Ache kupatia wengine 10, wengine 3.
Anapatianga wengine 3.
Na 5.
Like
No,
which
as
one?
Mount Kenya, you can't call us for meetings and give us 3,000. What's that?
Hey.
Hata 10 ni kidogo manze.
But
Watu
10 in a
waitishe
day is a good amount.
Since money is not going to systems and institutions to make this government work.
Lakini unajua sasa labda wanasema
wako
pesa
poa.
ya majani chai ni mingi kushinda hiyo.
Yeah. No, but I mean, making 10,000 a day is good.
That's good. That's good, man.
That's good.
Do you think that President Ruto is desperate?
Oh, he's very desperate. You can tell it. And you know, it was very sad. Do you know what he said today?
He was very sad.
No. It's very sad. The kind of messaging he gives my people from Mount Kenya. I hate it. When he was in State House today, he was busy saying, simunaona wale watu wa Msufuria, walishaenda nyumbani hawanisumbui tena. He would never say that when he goes to the Luo Nyanza. So he's still trying to sell these tribal things, sort of just remind Mount
Watu wa
Kenya.
Sufuria kina Odhiambo.
Ati your enemy bado ni Luo.
Odhiambo, you know, every time something like that comes up, I'm very safe. I'm the safest.
What comes up?
Everything that happens like that, sijui Sufuria, sijui maandamano, sijui nini, mimi unipatangi hapo.
And then he says,
you are
and then he's,
agnostic. You don't like helping building the democracy space in Kenya.
Which democracy space?
you don't like struggle.
Yeah,
Yes. No, I like struggle.
You like soft life. Struggle where?
Which one you like
Struggle where? I'm as freedom fighters. I'm the current Mau fighters.
The man goes to a restaurant and orders Parmesan.
What is that?
I don't know what that is. But this guy knows.
It is for you know.
And tea with lactose free milk.
Oh my God, you're lactose intolerant. You are soft life.
I am very lactose intolerant.
and it does not work much.
So do you also take sparkling water?
But that's
Oh
what
my
we're
God, he
taking here.
does.
It does. The guy eats and lives soft.
So anyway,
And eats
let's go
chicken
back. Let's
separated
let's
from
go
the
back.
bone.
Wait, I didn't finish what he also said.
That
In State House today, you have to give you a preview. I'm
Okay.
surprised you don't know this.
Yeah.
When he wants to talk about the deputy position, he tells the State House media, please switch it off. Ati tunataka kuongea kindani. Why would he do that?
he switches media for you.
Yes. We did not hear that conversation. He actually said it. Muzime sasa hiyo tuongee. Because now he needs to sit them on the Kenyan people, tell them unajua bado si waondokei, bado ni nyinyi na pairs, that it is not documented and he can still come back to this side of Akina Wanga and tell them, I'm still going to give you this.
But I mean, even the ODM team knows that they can't get the deputy president position. They know.
Yes. But I like what you've been telling the Luo community. It's about time they play both sides.
Those ones are disorganized.
Sisi Mount Kenya, we are the most in opposition and we have do you have the government?
Yes, exactly.
And we are the biggest noisemakers.
You see?
Yes.
From her mouth.
Yes.
This government, they're the ones who are having half of it.
I don't understand when people tell me that you're crying like that's because you're in opposition. I'm like, have you seen the kind of seats that we and the kind of positions we have? The only reason we are in opposition because it does not help us. We're like, it is individuals having those seats. We're still going to make noise. That's why every other time Kasongo has to call us to State House and give our people 10,000 a day. But still we are going to vote him out.
People of the internet.
Unapologetically.
Odhiambo, what do you think about them trying to go there on Farasi Watatu?
Well, I think they're hitting...
Do they become number 3 or number 2?
They're punching below their weight. I've always said Sifuna is refusing to take the red carpet. At least in the recent past, I've seen him try in terms of taking on the red carpet, which is encouraging. And Abby made me very proud yesterday when we were at Spice FM. Was it yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah. When she said openly that she's one of those people who is pushing Sifuna to declare that he's going for presidency. That's bold.
Yes.
That's the kind of conversation we need to have. Not seeing him teeter around. And perhaps my only issue with them is still this persistence to stay in an abusive marriage where your clothes and suitcase has been thrown out of the fence. And you're still insisting you love this guy because the father is the one who introduced you to him or to her. That's a bit crazy.
Somebody told me something Odhiambo about that issue. Somebody very big in government was telling me the other day that they know they cannot check out of ODM now because if they check out of ODM, they are out of parliament and they're out of Senate.
Even that.
Political
Even
oblivion.
that.
Yeah, they will be told to go and look for a mandate. No salary, no nothing.
They're staring into political oblivion. And at this moment, maybe it's just too late, but at this moment, this is where you start building a very serious momentum by resigning from parliament and seeking a fresh mandate. Yes.
They need the salary.
Well,
to move
We
around.
do. We do
Power.
move around. How do you think we move around, Brian?
Yeah.
I met somebody.
Uhuru is not giving you guys money. Any
I
money?
told you if Uhuru gives us money, you will know.
What does that
I
mean?
Guy,
I met
me,
the
I'd have come here
financer.
with
I met the
where?
financer of Linda Wananchi.
Who, Brian?
I will tell you, of course. You know, you and me, we speak, so I'll tell you without fear. The other day,
We finance our own self. We do
I
round
mean,
table,
Abi, you,
table
you know,
banking,
you and me
Brian.
can talk outside. But for the purposes for the purposes of this, I have to clarify once more. The other day when you were in Kisumu, remember me texting you? I met that gentleman. He called me in the morning. Then I met him at about 2-3. He told me, then why are you saying this? Japa to make a hit, to make a hit, to make a hit. And then I told him, he actually told me by 4 we're going to hit them really hard. I told him, don't try it. Pull down your teams. It will mess you real bad. The guy who is there when our jamaa meka is going to mess you real bad. Then he told me, no, to make a pesa nyingi kwa hii kitu sana. And we want to ensure that they go smooth without any. What do you see? Ikienda hivi tunafanya aje? I told him, wacha now. It is best for you ikienda hivyo. So yes, these people cannot afford themselves. That's the reality. As at now, politically they can't afford themselves because that event alone could go an upwards of 10-20 million shillings. That event alone, if I'm lying, you can tell us. It is very expensive, and Sifuna does not have that money. The only person who has that money is the person who I met. Yes.
Well, like I cannot back his story because I don't know who he met, but I know how we move around as well.
Yes.
Like for me, I have a very big support system.
And you
My
have a
own
brand.
I have my own people that ensure I move from rally to rally.
But she went dark on us.
No, you didn't even remind me, guys. You didn't even talk to me. You were talking to me after the rallies, like, that was very good work.
Yeah.
And I was deep in mobilization for Nakuru.
We didn't want to.
Congratulations on the sound, by the way. You guys are really trying.
Thank you.
You're really improving
I
on
really
the sound.
listen to you guys.
Yes,
They make a lot of
but
noise.
also, why don't you have your own YouTube account?
Yeah, we are working on that.
Please do.
Yeah, because you see now the problem with taking a feed from, let's say, K24 is because we can our YouTube can be deleted if they reported us. So it's important that you guys have your own YouTube account where we can take the feeds. In fact, you can even give us APIs.
Okay.
So that we don't even need to, to screen grab. Because now what we are doing is screen grabbing.
Yes.
But if you allowed us, we'll just have the clean copy. Yeah.
Okay.
Like Azimio used to do.
Like Azimio used to do.
I'll do that.
Yeah,
for the
that
next
is
rally.
something.
I take
Odhiambo,
your
what happened to our phone
suggestions
calls
very
today?
The phone calls are there. We're going to open the lines shortly.
Is it working?
Of course. If we just open it up right now, the guys will be calling. So people of the internet.
Can you tell them the number to call? They have to ask all the questions to but there are also questions here. Many, very, very many.
So let me.
How do we verify your membership to Linda Wananchi? Oh, these guys are talking over there.
Connected.
Ati Gachagua akuje kubeg nyinyi. I can't wait.
Utaona tu.
All right, Gachagua. We need a party with free and fair nominations. Right? Build memberships from the grassroots up with young people and wise old in leadership in all wards. All right? That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Some other people are saying, they sometimes they start talking to each other, so it's very
there's
difficult to
fighting.
It's very difficult to know what is.
Meanwhile, as you read that, people of the internet, get ready to ask questions. I can see they've already started calling. You get ready. You can send us your WhatsApp messages on our WhatsApp number 0104 341 733, and also shortly. You can start calling on the same number 0104 341 733. The order is very simple. When you call, put your loud TV on silent. Don't put us on speaker because it will echo, and when it echoes, the sound quality gets really bad. And number 3, when you call and you find somebody on the line, don't stop calling, because once we end the conversation, we come to you. And today we are going to restrict it to 1 minute maximum per person. 1 minute maximum. Because that means in 30 minutes you can only pick 30 people. And there are over 400 people calling at any one time. So, if you give me the go-ahead...
Yes. I can give you the go-ahead.
All right, so let's start from there. Good evening. How are you? Can you hear us?
Good evening, Jagero. How are you?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Jagero and Odhiambo. How are you?
Hello. Hello, good evening. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear?
Another call comes in, so you can call 0104341733. Abby Zwena is in the house. You can ask your questions. Some people ask about the agenda of Linda Mwananchi. Is it just vuguvugu ambayo inapingamizi towards...
Somebody's also saying the only way Ruto goes home is if Team Sifuna stands alone. It's the only opposition team able to...
Unknown caller.
Right, hello, good evening, how are you?
Hello.
Yeah, good evening, how are you, boss?
I'm good. I'm just a fellow calling from South Sudan.
You're calling from South Sudan. What's your name, sir?
My name is Jeffrey Chalo.
Okay, go ahead. You have a question?
Yes. I have a question to that lady, Zuena.
Yeah.
Because I can see they are joking too much. They don't know what it means to form a government. Sifuna is just a one-term senator. So they should not joke around with Kenyan mind. Telling us that Sifuna is a boss, Sifuna has done this, he has done nothing. He has no record to lead Kenya. And I wonder why they are saying Ruto has done this, Ruto has done this. In the time of Uhuru, so many people lost lives in Yala. We had Eurobond. You could hear sometimes telling us he's losing 2 billion shillings. He doesn't know what to do. That was our saying. Now Ruto is a devil. So they should come here and tell us what the problem with the Ruto. They should not joke with people's minds telling us this phone is okay, phone is qualified. He's just a one-time senator like a Shagwa. So we need an experienced person with a sober mind.
Thank you, sir, for your opinion.
Not just a matter of this height of the gentry. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your opinion. Of course, Abby is right here. She will give a response. Good evening. How are you? What's your name and where are you calling us from? Good evening. Hello. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from? Hello. Okay. Hello. Good evening.
Hi.
Hi. How are you and where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Nairobi.
Yes. What's your name, sir?
You're speaking to Martin.
Martin, karibu sana. Uko na swali ama comment?
Niko na swali specifically kwa Abi.
Okay, uliza.
And nina expect anijibu ikiwezekana.
Okay.
Swali yangu ni hii. Specifically in the media part.
Okay.
Na I'm one of the favorite or one of the believers of Linda Mwananchi.
Okay.
So I'd like to join the team like officially, like for example, wakiwa wanafanya sensation. Ningependa kuwa part of the team. I know sometimes inaweza kuwa na expenses and so on, but hiyo si shida. We are ready to go from where we are right now. So ningependa tu ajibu directly and how we can get in touch.
Just answer him straight away.
Thank you.
Yeah, he wants to know how to join the Linda Mwananchi.
Yes.
First, I hope you have registered in our platform, thelindamwananchi.com.
I think
Martin, you have?
Yes.
You have, okay, then maybe just for now, reach out to me through Facebook. Just send me a DM. I always respond and send me your number. There's a platform
already the DM is in your Facebook, is in your TikTok already.
Oh, okay.
It's just you to check.
Am I able to get his number after this?
Yeah. Are you comfortable sharing your number with Abby on in her DM right away again?
No, even now.
Even now? Are you comfortable sharing your number on air?
788
0788
92 83 90.
Okay, thank you so much. Abby will
Thank you. I'm sending you a message right now, Martin. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. How are you? Where are you calling us from?
Hello, Jambo.
Yes, Jambo. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm Jackson.
Yes, Jackson. Karibu.
And I'm a Linda Mwananchi enthusiast. I'm so happy for Abby Zuena.
Yes.
We're really rooting for them for that ticket of Sifuna going for the presidential seat.
Yes.
And also I want to just comment, this one specifically goes for Jagero. He really needs to do a good background check of the people we bring on the show. On Sunday, we viewers were very much disrespected. There was a guy called Meshach. He was so much emotional.
Oh, Meshach did.
Yes, that guy was so much emotional.
Okay. Odhiambo ndo alimuudhi.
Yes, we viewers we deserve the best.
All right.
And thank you.
Thank you so much.
But I want to ask him a question before he goes. Ama, you've already taken him out.
He's here.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you a question.
I'm still there.
Sifuna is the presidential candidate. Who is deputizing Sifuna?
Well, I propose Jimmy Wanjiki.
Oh.
Nice.
Because he has the strategies and he can be able to mobilize people for money from even outside the country.
All right. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you. Have a good night. Hello. Good evening. I missed that. Hello. Good evening. Missed that as well. Okay. Let me pick this. Hello. Good evening. How are you?
Odhiambo, let me go straight to the point. This Sando, I talked to you yesterday. Let me go straight because of the time. You said 1 minute.
Go straight to the point. I agree with you. Go straight to the point.
Zuena, I've listened to Zuena and Willis this morning in your podcast and Jimmy Wanjigi on Manyora. Right. So I have one question for Zuena. There's this thing Sifuna calls preamble, whatever, constitution.
Preamble of the constitution.
Yeah. Do you know that just saying, I heard you being asked, what do you want to do? What is your agenda? You said, Suena, that you just want people to follow the constitution. People do not kill you, right? So I want us to go to why does the government kill people? Do you understand why the government is able to kill people after an election or whenever there is a protest? When you protest, people hear you and not kill you, right? So I am suggesting, like Willis and Jim Wanjigi suggest that the core reason why police kill people is because the police are answering to some guy in Nairobi. And if we had a constitution changed or amended, that we have sheriff and this sheriff be elected, then police akitumwa from Nairobi and he's listening to one guy, Inspector General, anaweza kuwa watu, kwa mfano ametumwa Mombasa, he is not from Mombasa, so ataua watu Mombasa akijua anapokea tu orders from Nairobi. But mkichagua mtu wenu mwenye anasimamia polisi, atakuwa na ile utu kwa watu wao.
Excuse me. Let me just get your point correctly. Are you shooting a question on police brutality, or are you making a comment on police brutality?
I'm making a comment. I'm suggesting and also telling Zuena because she seems the one that Sifuna has an ear to, that aende akiongea na yeye awambie hii kitu. I mean, Sifuna must come out clear on what he wants. He has the popularity, but the message he gives to people, does not come out clear what he really wants.
Thank you. I think, Abby, you've taken notes. Yes. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much, and thank you for calling.
Asante kwa kunikubalia kuongea kwa muda.
Asante. Hello, can you hear us? Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yes.
This is the number we are calling.
Hello, can you remove the speaker?
Is this the number we are calling for political headache?
Yes, correct. You're speaking to political headache.
Yeah. Am I speaking to Odhiambo?
Yes, you're speaking to Odhiambo. Please proceed. Do you have a question or a comment?
Okay. Yes. What I wanted to tell Abby is that this talking stage between Sifuna and the nation is probably not progressing as we expected, because Sifuna has not come out strongly to say this is what I want. And the Kenyans are also waiting. And you know, Kenyans are people who wanatakanga mtu akuja aseme anataka nini ndio wamfuate. Sifuna, on this other hand, is waiting to see how many Sifunas he has before he can declare. Can we have him come out clearly and say he's going for the presidency? Come by and by.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Maybe I can respond on the first one. The young man, I'm going to assume he's young, that said we are not serious, we don't know how to
+25471
and so forth.
+25471.
These are the same comments young people have faced in both private sector, in the corporate world, in the political space. It's the first thing you have to demystify or deal with. You're young, you don't know what you're doing, you guys don't know how to run a country, you don't know how to run a campaign. And such archaic thinking is why we are doing what we are doing. Of course, we have not run a government before. I have never been a civil servant in government. But I've been in the private sector, and I know what is fundamentally wrong with how government is being run now, because I am feeling it, and I've had to leave real estate to do politics so that I can ensure that we are forming a government that understands the basic needs of people. We are not going to do things the normal way, because we cannot do the same things the same way and expect different results. But we do understand that generation that expect us to align and do things the way they are used to. And what we can tell that mindset and that thinking is just watch and learn and watch as we change this country in the best way we know how. There was a guy that also asked and said that we are not clear on our messaging, and I'm going to say this. Our messaging is very simple. And why is it simple? We have been, we have walked away from the fabric of who we are as Kenyans, and the basic things being, what does it mean to be loyal to your country? What does it mean to be loyal to yourself as a Kenyan and give your best for the country? And that is what we are trying to take Kenyans back to. Because if we do not start from there, we're not going to change anything. And it starts with even who you are as a person and how you interact with government and how you interact with public service and how you interact with leadership and everything else. How you participate in this thing we call corruption, and how you participate in, theft. Because at the end of the day, we are very key to tell government, you guys are stealing, but we don't even look at how we have contributed to that. And it starts with even how we vote and who we are as voters. And so we are simplifying our messaging right back to the preamble of the Constitution and saying, we don't need to promise you so many things, because if you are to follow the law, even in regards to debt, Jagero, I know you're very key on that, we will not be where we are and talking about odious debt. We will not be dealing with a government that does not understand how this debt is crippling this economy, and how Kenyans do not understand this debt because they have refused to audit debt. And so, in retrospect, they have also borrowed outside parliamentary approval, and that is why we are in this mess from the regime of the Ruto and so forth, which Ruto again was part of. And so our message is so simple, but why Kenyans are struggling to understand it is because we have been used to such complex political manifestos and big terms. We cannot understand simple terms because we have geared away from the moral fabric of who we are as Kenyans, and we need to go back there. We need to change who we are as Kenyans if we are going to change the country. It's going to take time for people to understand this messaging, but we're not going to tire. We're going to keep repeating it until we get there. I feel every other person has promised everything. I mean, the president himself has promised Singapore. Singapore, right? And we are in Singapore.
It's a good dream, right?
We are struggling even with basic needs. This week parents are taking school children back to. Hapana, watu wanapeleka watoto shule na watu. I mean, how many requests are you getting from your phone?
Don't fidget.
I'm not fidgeting. There's a popular English saying that you can't fiddle when Rome is burning.
Yes. And when we talk about police brutality, it starts from the head of state and how he interacts with police brutality and the pronouncement he makes. So when he stands and says the boy is still alive, right? He has positioned himself to a state of mind that he believes there's nothing like police brutality. And we've seen people die like Brian Odhiambo from Nakuru.
Right,
he was a fisherman.
That was a sad thing.
He was just working.
That was KWS nonsense,
yes,
right?
he was not on the street.
I think KWS needs to take responsibility
Yeah,
for that.
so it's...
I mean, Abby, also truly speaking, to be the devil's advocate,
Yes.
I agree there's some things which are really bad. Of course, you can't even do what? Defend them.
Yes.
But some of them, I mean, even if Sifuna takes over power today, some rogue police will go and pick a human being somewhere and misbehave with them. KWS will misbehave. Of course, there's political responsibility.
It's how you deal with the responsibility,
the responsibility
of it.
And I do agree with you that question when he was asked by the journalists in State House, I do agree with you. It was a little bit of an ignorant response. I won't call it careless. It was an ignorant response because he was even inquiring. That boy is okay, right? I found to be very ignorant, and then I blame the communications people.
Of course.
Yeah, because I mean,
they've always gotten wrong on their communication.
What was that?
Yeah.
And I've always said the present communication team is quite useless. That's for a fact. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can we take one more call?
Yes.
Okay, lift it up. Let's go.
And caller.
Good. There we go. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening. How are you? What's your name?
Yes,
Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good evening. I'm calling from Nairobi.
Yes. What's your name?
This is Chris Adams.
Chris Adams.
Yes.
Yes. Question, comment.
Yeah, a comment and a question at the same time.
All right. Give it 10 seconds.
Okay, thank you. Now, what I just want to tell Sifuna'S team is to be responsive, because it's like many a times, I don't know whether they have got anything they have put in place so that like if somebody calls or people probably want to participate, they're able to get back to them, because like there are people who have tried to conduct them, or rather to find a way through which they can be able to participate. But then they normally don't get any feedback. When they send messages, they call, nobody responds. And then two, they need to link themselves from the ODM party.
Okay. Abby, you can respond to that immediately?
Make a total declaration, because at the end of the day, at the moment, it's like they still that back and push. Like, we don't know whether they are still with the guru or whether they want to be on their own at the end of the day. So, it's a lot of confusion, so that even within themselves,
okay, Abby,
they might not be sure exactly who is with them.
Thank you. Abby, there's a question here on how people can reach you.
Yeah.
And two is on why you need to delink from ODM.
I think we are coming up with the command center structure that is going to have phone numbers and a call center where people can reach us more effectively, and we are working on that because also the demand to actually just reach us and share ideas and contribute and volunteer is really pressing. So I'm sure our principals, we're going to be sharing that in our principals' platforms and as well as ours. So that is coming up, and we're working on the same to ensure that it's a very bulletproof command center that allows a lot of feedback to come in real time, and you guys are able to engage with us as we progress. Matters delinking from ODM, please remember these are elected members and leaders of the ODM. It would be very ingenuine of us to tell them delink now. It would mean they lose the seats that they are currently holding and, relinquishing the mandate they've been given by the people. Some of these leaders have been elected members of parliament, senators. We have a whole governor. So it is quite unfair to expect them to delink right now. It would mean they also just relinquish their leadership, that the mandate they were given by the people. So I think we need to give them and accord them due time to just sort of transition from that space and offer guidance on the same. Yeah.
Okay.
Please remember, even leaders that are in united opposition, like in DCP, they still maintain that they are UDA members because they know it is by that virtue that they are still in their various houses.
So immediately Sifuna announces that he is not a member of ODM, then that means he goes home.
He goes home. He stops being the Senator of Nairobi because he was elected as the Senator of Nairobi in the ODM ticket. Yeah.
Okay.
We need to be a roof to that.
Okay, let's pick 3 more questions. 3 more or 4 more.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, you can ask. Yes, sure.
I wanted to ask a question about the messaging that Abizuena said. I like their messaging about the preamble of the Constitution. Though I'm a bit concerned, is indeed too radical. I know as Gen Zs we like radical things.
Yes.
But when you are considering, okay, I'm a psychologist, so when you are considering, there's something called Maslow hierarchy of needs. And there's basic needs and then self-actualization. And I feel like your message, iko pale juu kwa self-actualization. Ina deal na the ideology of people.
The idealism.
And yes. And as a nation, most of our people are still at the below of the pyramid.
Right.
So the messaging is not really reaching out to them because they are still struggling with food, rent, watu wataenda aje shule, such things. So ukianza kuambia hizi vitu zingine like we have to care about being led by the rule of law, which is a good thing. But if I'm struggling with getting food today, am I going to na Ruto saizi ananiambia nikishinda hivi I'm going to reduce the price of groceries. And then there's you who is telling me, you know, nikishinda will make our institutions stronger, such things. Don't you think it's a bit radical for our nation?
I think we have a 2-tier communication system. There's what we communicate, and it's important we communicate this to the majority of our supporters that understand the importance of the preamble of the Constitution.
Right.
This goes to the fabric of why young people went out on June 25th, because they were questioning very key values and personalities of the leaders that were representing us in Parliament and passing the finance bill. So integrity was being questioned. Do you really are you there to represent the interest of the people? Are you there to represent the interest of Kasongo and so forth? And so those were very fundamental issues that were being raised by young people. And that demographic needs to understand that integrity and following the rule of law is very key for us as Linda Mwananchi. When we go to our rallies, our messaging is very different. We don't talk about the preamble of the Constitution. We anchor our messaging based on the region we are in and the county that we are in. We'd have proper debriefing of the historical injustices and issues that need to be addressed in the rallies. In Nakuru, for example, we didn't talk about the preamble. We touched on 2 things. The death of Brian Odhiambo, which still aches into the hearts of Nakuru people.
Right.
The economic state of Nakuru County as a county in terms of the leadership that is there, in terms of the governor and what she has been unable to do. And that, we talked about the Rironi Mau Summit Road and the issues surrounding that road in terms of no budget has been allocated for that and so forth. In Vihiga, we talked about the issues that were touching on the people of Vihiga. In Kisumu, Babu Owino was very clear about the messaging for the Kisumu people, and he touched on 2 things. One, there are no industry and factories that can empower young people there. And so what happens is everybody's either boda was doing whatever Brian was talking about.
Which I think is a very good messaging.
Yes, so we have been trying to we can't communicate the same messaging to all Kenyans because what I need to tell Brian is very different from what I need to tell my mom, for example, in Gilgil, and we need to reach both demographics. But for the bigger chunk of the the youth generation, we need to radicalize them to going back to the Constitution and to understand why the key things and issues they have with the current regime needs to be solved by everybody who is coming into leadership, knowing that their first allegiance starts with the rule of law and the Constitution that we all want to support and want to rally behind. And so we must be, conscious of that so that we cater for every grouping of people that are supporting us. Yes.
Right. Hello.
Phone's up.
Hello. Hello. Good evening.
And so we must be, conscious of that.
Hello. Good evening. Hello.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
Good evening.
Yeah, I've seen you trying to call so much. So
Can you hear me?
Shoot your question. What's your name?
Yes, this is Eric. I'm calling from Libya.
You're calling from?
Yes. Libya.
Oh, you're in Libya. Okay, go
ahead.
Tripoli or where?
Yes. So straight to my point.
Right.
Those colleagues or those people who are calling in saying Sifuna ajitokeze saizi, I want to assume they don't know who Ruto is. So I think the best strategy is Sifuna ajitokeze at the right time. And then 2, anyone supporting Ruto, to be honest, I don't know if they really know what health, education,
and the basic needs are all about. The cost of living is very high. The project that this guy is doing is just boondoggled, gold-plated, and pork barrel. So basically, their budget at State House is just a budget of butter. So all in all, my challenge to Abi is, you guys, you need to look for Ndindi Nyoro, bring him on board. That guy will add a lot of value to Linda Mwananchi. And then lastly, Brian, I texted you about your online sessions for communication strategies and public speaking. Please, if you can get back to me.
I will get back to you in due course. Thank you so much. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Shika the clients.
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes. What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
Yes, Obiambo. My name is Steve.
Steve, yes.
Yeah, I'm calling from Nairobi. Yes.
All right.
Now, two things very fast. I'd like to encourage Akina Kurena.
Yeah.
You see, one thing that the reality on the ground is that Baba is not there right now.
Yes.
And I had followers of Baba like me. You see, we are just here looking, and you see these things Baba was never given, it's taken.
Right.
And if Babu is making his move, that's our guy. So what is 2K? And then there is this second that is going around, and you guys, I like listening to you guys because you unavenye mnaangalia hivi vitu. There is this second that the president is going for Joho, and the narrative that they want to come with right now is putting past the Christians against the Muslims. And the way we are seeing things happen, even in Garissa right now, we are very scared. What is going on?
Okay, we will have a separate discussion on that someday. Thank you so much for calling. Have a good evening. Hello, good evening. How are you?
The narrative that they want to come with right now is putting past the Christians against.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Biambo Keno.
Yes, good evening, bro. How are you? What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
This is Kevin Otuka. I'm calling from Septimau. This line has been busy, man.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You guys are doing a good job. Let me begin from there.
Thank you.
Number two, I wanted Zubeda, or I can't get her.
Abi.
Yes,
Zubeda.
Abi.
Yeah.
To tell us, you see, one of the reasons why Ruto succeeded in the last election, for me, I think is he had like something like a slogan to sell, hustlers, something. So it's something that was accepted countrywide. Other than zoning the regions and telling us that we are in Kisumu, this is what is happening and this is what is happening. What do they have for all Kenyans? Like all Kenyans, like for example, the level of taxation that we have. What are they speaking about the taxation? What are they speaking about the debts? Other than talking about the preamble, like Kenyans want to know, what really are you telling us? What alternatives are you bringing?
Okay, Abi.
Yes, thank you.
What alternatives are you bringing?
I can answer that.
Yeah.
Unknown caller. The first tire of our engagement, and we've only been doing this for 1 month, so to say. Okay, right. 2 months. And I feel our name says it all, Linda Mwananchi. So we have to go have conversations with people and then understand how to package our messaging. So we are 13 months to the election.
Yeah.
No other person has come out, even the current government and the current, because he's also vying again. Kasongo is also vying again. Yeah. No one has come out to say what they're gonna do. His slogan is Singapore. Ours is Linda Mwananchi na sisi ndio Sifuna. It's true. So we've only done like 6 rallies. Yeah. we are doing a lot of public participation. There's a lot of backroom operations that happen. We have an advanced team that goes and meet various groups and collect views. We have a team that talks to women, young people, creatives, comrades. It's a whole process, and there's a whole analysis that is done based on the regions that we are visiting. Right. And so then I feel I know there's a lot of demand for us to say what we are doing, what are our slogans, but I'm just going to say people need to hold their horses and understand that we know what we are doing. We are dealing with leaders that were students of Baba, They saw his mistakes and what he did successfully. They know what to do and what not to do. They saw him lose elections very many times. They felt the pain of losing election more than they've never won an election except their various seats, but the presidential one they have never. And so I feel tier 2 of our engagement with people is going to bring a lot of light and clarity in terms of our messaging and so forth. But for now, we're literally doing public participation with the people of Kenya and understanding what their problems are, what their needs are, what they expect of us and so forth. And this feedback, even like the one that I've received now, is what helps us also just understand how to package our messaging and our manifesto and our slogans and everything else. There's a guy who said before that, he talked about, and I love that he said it, let Sifuna declare his bid at his own time. It's too early. But the people around him, we are already saying it. I'm already saying it. Sifuna is going to vie for presidency. So let him progressively just find his own time to say it. I want to remind people that Baba used to say these things at the last minute. And there was immense pressure. And Sifuna tells us there was a time he actually did a whole thing and said Baba is going to vie. And then God, it happened on April Fool's Day. That is the day he said it. And
I remember that story.
He had to recant it. Yeah. He had to say, oops. I was joking with you guys because Baba again came and said, who told you to say it? Who told you, Sifuna, you can't do these things. It was quite an issue.
Yeah. In fact, that's the time I think Sifuna was reprimanded most by Raila.
Yes.
He's not been reprimanded like that.
Yes. And so...
As an SG.
Yeah. Sifuna is not someone you rush. He knows the same way we got the Mimi Ndio Sifuna moment. The moment is coming and he's going to say it. So, patience.
All right. So, let me read a few texts because the line is too jammed and some people are sending me saying, Wewe, Jagero, na udhiambo yako hiyo.
If you were picking it.
Yeah, they say, hello, I'm trying to call, but there's a lot of traffic on phone. This is Nizam Makoha, MC aspirant, Mountain View Ward, and a member of DCP. Kindly tell Zuena that they should not be that harsh to united opposition. Let us unite if there need be. Adui Niruto. What do you say to her?
We are very friendly to DCP. As a party, we love engaging them and interacting with them. We're just saying we are taking our time to galvanize our numbers and to mobilize our numbers, and we're going to get to that table. And it's okay to have this healthy competition amongst the united opposition parties and formations and movements, because that makes it even better for us to go out there and look for these votes for Ruto must go.
Right.
So we have to encourage this healthy competition and the back and forth and aggravation between us, because it only makes us more hungry and more determined to go and look for and convince people on why this regime needs to go. So they shouldn't feel like we are not friendly or we are trying to come and take up their space. We just want tuko timu moja, but sasa kila mtu apiganie tafu yake tupatane hapo mbele. Yes, that's it.
Barabara mwingine hii tutane pale kwa junction.
Yes.
Hata sisi tunawangojea huku. Hello, assalamu alaikum. This is Ahmed Hali Ruhaman from Lamu Island. My comment for Linda Mwananchi is an appeal for them to build rapport with the coast. In the moment, their footprint is very low in the coast. What do you say to him?
Yes. I think we just did one rally in Tononoka. We have one member of parliament from the coast region, Honorable Mwashako, doing a very good job. We are trying to reach out to as many leaders as we can. A lot of our support from the coast region is coming from aspirants, and we have plans to just go and engage them. We're very happy when it's aspirants supporting us, because we don't have the baggage of carrying leaders that the people no longer want. So it makes it very easier for us to just connect with the people, because you get to listen to the leaders that they don't want. And so you're like, thank God you're not aligning with us. We don't need to deal with your headaches. So yes, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, especially in the coast region and in the Rift Valley region. But we are happy that we have friendly conversations with Alfred Keter, one of the biggest leaders of opposition from Rift Valley. And we are going to set foot there. Uasin Gishu, we are coming.
Please ask her, are they not afraid of getting less MPs 2027, so that this can lead to impeachment, this Douglas Mogoba, in a sentence?
Not really, because I think a lot of the current members of parliament that are holding their positions are going home.
Right.
for obvious reasons. Most of them have not performed, and I'm happy the president, Akasongo, has crippled their legitimacy on the ground because he has held hostage that bunge, and they have not been able to represent the people. And we've seen the backlash that these leaders are facing on the ground, even when they try to go and do bare minimum events, or what they call their empowerment tokeism events, and people are like, no, you can't come now, and when we needed you, we could not find you, and you guys did not go and represent us. So I think this is going to be the election where a lot of young people that have aspiration to go for these seats need to actually go send themselves and present themselves and ride on things like Linda Mwananchi, DCP, or whichever formation. As long as you're not aligning with the current government, you have an actual shot and a head start vis-a-vis these guys that have aligned with the current regime. Yes.
Okay. Nyarango from Atlanta, Jagiro's friend, says, I like the term Linda Mwananchi, and since Kenya needs a radical changes, I think they should talk about how to return dignity to the Mwananchi. Few examples: reduce recurring expenses, halve the salaries of president to MCA, because we are overpaying them, eliminate nominated anything. We don't need them when we are a struggling nation. Why do we have house allowances for president, governors, and VP while they have houses built for them? If not, there will be one term too, because our problem is excessive government and paying these guys way too much.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a response.
Yes, very good idea.
Then we have Haya Bizuena. This is Tom Boyer from Langata, Nairobi. I resonate with your vision and energy. I have 3 quick points. First, is the Linda Mwananchi leadership actively engaging great leaders like David Maraga and Okiya Mtata, who many Kenyans, and especially myself, see as credible symbols of reform? Are there plans to align or collaborate with them, even Jimmy Wanjigi and Willis Otieno? Second, on messaging, the Linda Mwananchi political delivery on the rallies is strong, but I believe it can be simplified into clear, relatable pillars. For example, prioritizing industrialization to create jobs and taking a firm stand against cartels and corruption, issues that directly affect Mwananchi daily. Finally, I'd like to plug in and work hand in hand with Abizuena and the Linda Mwananchi movement. How can committed young people like myself work closely with you, Abi, strengthen this movement on the ground? Okay. What do you say to your...
I think we can... I'll pick his number.
Yeah, then
it's a
you
message,
can respond.
so...
Okay, I have so many of them. I'll send you these things.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let me see.
They're sending on WhatsApp.
They're sending a lot of messages, thick and fast, coming in. Lastly, let's take the last message and maybe one last 2 calls. Then we call it a day, right?
Okay.
Right, Jagiro? Okay. I am Joy. If I don't get an opportunity to say it live, just know I love the podcast. I think you're doing a good job. Abby has done well to come on your show. I enjoy the insights of these offers.
Okay.
All right, let me look at one more message so that somebody's not left out. I am Anthony from LD. Why double mouth speak? People Renaissance is not our party. Please, if it's not Linda Mwananchi, no. When are they planning to come to Eldoret? I think you've answered that before.
Yes.
Let me see.
I'm telling you, Eldoret, they're calling us.
Eldoret is calling you. That is interesting.
Wow.
A gentleman here says politics is more of sustaining the moment. Linda Mwananchi is not sure of what they want. Currently, they are saying that Sifuna is the candidate, yet Babu has also confirmed that he'll take the presidency in 2032. Well, but tell Jagiro to send a shout out to Obonga for us people of the internet. Where's Obonga? He's not here today. Yeah, but the shout out has gone.
Obonga was the one who set up the cameras. He's always there.
Somebody has written something here. Let me just read it. Odiambo. Your beloved president, the Doyen himself, Mr. Tutam, has today said, and I quote, open quote, wale watu walikuwa wananihangaisha kwa barabara na masufuria wameenda nyumbani. Ama unawaona? Question mark. Close quote. My question, is this the same person Linda Ground are negotiating with? Being keen on what the president is always insisting on, that he doesn't need a broker for him to talk to the people of Kenya. Very soon, he will not need the 82-year-old youth leader to talk to Nyanza people. Nyasona will soon cry again. And remind her that respect is earned. Let them consolidate their base and go tell Mr. William, we have 3 or 4 million for you. Respect will come automatically. All right, last call.
What when you say walienda nyumbani, meaning what?
Waliwapeleka nyumbani. How do you take someone home? Who was the only strong voice that could
to interpret that, but I'm really running away from it.
Why, Brian? You can't run away from things.
Do you know I'm running away from it? Because it is too emotional and to motive.
Then why would the president make such pronunciation?
I think it was a careless statement. Genuinely.
Yes, he's very
Genuinely,
careless.
I think that was a careless statement.
No, I think
because
I think when you do something,
yeah.
And his mouth is gonna keep on confessing. I'm not kidding. This thing is so spiritual. You can't do some things and get away with them.
Well, Abby.
He's gonna say it one day. Tutakuja to analyze hapa.
Push up the reply. All right, push up the lines. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
My name is Anthony.
Anthony, yes.
Yeah, I checked the door. I'm calling from Eldoret.
Yes, Anthony.
Currently staying in Kapsabet.
Right.
The first question is pertaining the Linda Mwananchi, because I've seen them, whatever they're trying to do is something that resonates well with us youth.
Okay.
But there's a disconnect
in
terms of messaging. Okay. They need to make Sifuna to be more pro-people than to be this person who's being pushed more by the leaders to talk more. Like, I've never gotten a chance to speak to Abby, or simply I've been seeing Abby as a person who's joyriding in all these things. But today she has proved otherwise to me, and I'm a volunteer. I've already subscribed to their page. So kindly give her my number. We'll try and mobilize in Eldoret. We are doing a lot for Linda Mwananchi. As much as I'm concerned, the last thing,
yes,
we are doing the groundwork
right
everywhere. If Sifuna will not buy, let him know he will buy by force, because we don't have an option.
Thank you, sir.
Which option do they think that will go to? If it's Kasongo, our payslip, a person like me, let's say I'm earning something at close to 50,000, they're taking a huge chunk of my money. So how do you expect me to plan for my future? People are saying we need an agenda. The agenda is very simple. The constitution first. Then the second thing is the housing levy. You are deducting me my money. The president is deducting me my money. After deducting me my money, how do you expect me to afford a house that I'm competing with a certain Tajiri somewhere? A Tajiri can afford this money. He can go and purchase a house. But for me, a person whom I'm being deducted at the end of the day, I'm supposed also to go and deposit the same amount as that Tajiri who's not being deducted a housing levy. It's very painful. It's very painful for some of us. So if Kasongo today aseme anapunguza all those things, maybe naweza fikiria, but the what do we call it, msumari kwa sanduku, the moment he kills people, the moment he kills the youth, he gives with one hand and is taking with both hands. You see, Baba is gone. Baba was our enigma. So where do we go to? Where we go to is where Sifuna is where Babu is. If Babu will come in 2032, that's all right. But for now, we have to solve the issues which are happening right now. We are emotional, by the way. We are very emotional. We want to talk. And big up Jagero, big up Odhiambo for these things. We know it's a big media.
Thank you.
Leteni Sifuna, asanteni sana.
Asante sana. Abi ataleta Sifuna.
Later. Thank you so much for +25
4736.
You said 2 calls, Brian.
All right.
And yes, again, the question of messaging is coming
+2541.
And as we said, we are just still doing a lot of public participation to anchor our messaging around very key issues that are affecting Kenyans all over the country, which goes to the core mandate of any functioning of the government. There's no decision that is made without public participation. We're just doing in a very large scale way to ensure that we cover everything that is coming up. And I also just want to put it out there that there's a lot of consultation happening on sector-based systems. So the real estate guys are meeting and coming up with issues and solutions and manifestos that can be simplified in a sentence that is also so complicated. Energy sector players are meeting. So financial sectors are meeting. Transport people are meeting. So it's a whole, and please know we are just 2 months in.
Are you saying it's a people-driven manifesto?
Yes,
It's a people-developed manifesto?
Yes, and it has to be.
So you guys are not working on a manifesto. You're just listening to the people.
We are listening to the people, but we have sector-based professionals that are also, meeting and having their committees and having their trainings to understand how to advise us based on sector-based. And I think Edwin Sifuna has said this very well. He doesn't know a lot about agriculture, but he knows people who know a lot about agriculture and they're advising.
So is accepting that leadership is about delegation?
Yes, it is. And something that we've not seen with the current government, because Kasongo does everything in every ministry. Moving on swiftly, I'm going to appreciate the numbers of the guys from Uasin Gishu especially.
Yeah.
And I'm going to agree with them and say that for me also, it's Sifuna has to vie for presidential, for president, or it's that or nothing else.
Right.
And that has been made very clear with a lot of our supporters, and I love the push that we are pushing towards that and mobilizing towards that. And even inside the Linda Mwananchi, I saw a comment that Babu said he's going to be governor and then president. I think Babu has said this even before we started Linda Mwananchi. If you've stuck yourself at something, you don't, just let it go because something has come up. That is who Babu is, very set on whatever he needs. But everybody in the Linda Mwananchi team has gravitated and is supporting Edwin Sifuna for the presidential candidate, and that has been very clear in everything that we do, yes.
All right.
And even with how they speak in the rallies, it's very clear who gives the strongest message, who is welcomed the most, who there's a whole energy shift. Even with how now Sifuna is and how he reacts. And I'm happy tomorrow he's at Spice FM, so people tune in, the Situation Room, and listen to him which way forward. I'm sure he's going to give us a lot of insights and so forth. Yeah.
All right. So last message as we close. Odhiambo, I can't get through, but this is my message to Team Sifuna. Team Sifuna should now amalgamate rallies and town hall meetings where clear messaging on topical issues are discussed and feedback picked up. Also, is it possible for the team to structurally talk to the Wanjigi group?
This Wanjigi issue comes up over and over and over.
By the way, Wanjigi and Sifuna are very good friends.
Oh,
they
good.
talk.
I wish you all the best. Somebody's even asking. We need Sifuna and Wanjigi.
They really talk. I mean, I remember there was a time somebody from your team called me and is like, these two should talk. I'm like, by the time I was presenting it, I was being looked at. I just talked to him like 2 days ago. What's your problem? So these two are friends. I think they talk even like on a weekly basis. And so those people are like very good friends. I think he's one of the advisors of Sifuna, and I'm happy to literally report that, yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Jagiro.
All right, people of the internet, it has been amazing, wonderful, fantastic. It is never a boring day having Zoena. She's beautiful, she's energetic, she knows what she's talking about.
Thank you so much.
We want to thank you so much for coming to Political Headache. We want to thank you so much, for articulating the issues of Linda Mwananchi. Thank you, and we wish you the very best with whatever is going on over there. Odhiambo Tieno, somebody that is always with us here. Thank you very much. Okay, John Tess, the guy on the mic. Together with Frank, thank you very much. We have our researcher and the psychologist, Priska Vasht. Thank you very much. Obunga, the man who manned the cameras today, Kevin, who took care of the room, and everybody else that is involved here. Tieno, who is doing hospitality, Chiang, who is doing logistics. Everybody is here to make sure that we are doing well. But we cannot have a fireplace without an audience, or without people surrounding it. That is the audience. So thank you very much for always gathering here to listen to us, to send your contribution, to use your bundles, to use your electricity, your time, which is sometimes very expensive. So thank you very much. Please, if you're watching but you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. Hit on that notification bell so that when we have something coming up, you'll be the first person to be notified. Until another time, bye for now. HustlesAfrica.com, a guide to high-paying online jobs. At hustlesafrica.com, you will discover the jobs people are doing from home, the platforms where opportunities are found, the skills that open doors, and the practical steps to begin earning. Go to hustlesafrica.com today.